It's time to begin the football weekend.
And as they say in Tinseltown, roll up.
This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague.
They had pride, they had talent, they had hats and T-shirts.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app, follow 1080 The Fan, and enable push notifications to get the latest on the Ducks, Beavers, Blazers, and more.
Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
All right, 6:02 in the Rose City. Time for Dirt and Sprague on Portland Sports Leader 1080 The Fan.
24 Reno. Monday. Blue Poncho. Red Polly.
Oh, good morning. Happy Football Friday, everybody.
What is happening?
It's a sick-ass little T-shirt you got on
You
there.
like that little throwback tee?
I do like
My
that.
little game day tee, Friday Football Friday tee.
I have a Benny T-shirt that I want to order. My only hang-up on it is it's gray. And it's not like that gray. It's like a lighter bluish, hueish gray.
Oh, I don't like that gray.
But it's a really cool throwback Benny shirt. And I'm like, I have it in the cart, and I just can't hit that purchase.
Not quite sure yet if we fully want to buy it. The problem I pulled with this one today is I got dressed in the dark and didn't quite realize that I was also wearing gray shorts.
Oh, yeah.
So I just got an all gray thing going on over here today.
You know what's weird? I kind of had a darkness problem at my house, too. My dad and my stepmom are in town.
Excuse me? Yeah, okay. You know, what problem at your house?
Darkness.
Okay.
You said you were
I'm just checking, making sure. All right.
Is that a reference to something sexual that I don't know?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what's going on.
You're the one that started this weirdness. I was just trying to.
I just thought he was going like Therapy Thursday or something like that.
I don't know.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yes, I'm just making sure you're okay. I'm just checking on you, making sure everything's all right.
If it goes to Therapy Tuesday and Thursday, I think I would tell you to prepare to lose a co-host. Something awful is happening in my life.
We're going twice a week now.
Twice a week. There's
to
some
settle
real stuff.
Our darkness issues.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I was trying to say that my family is over. They stayed the night last night, and they get up early, but 4:20 a.m. is a little different early.
Yeah, it's not early. That's psychotic early.
So, like, I didn't have my usual routine today. In fact, I was going to make a nice, delightful coffee, and then they're snoring downstairs, and it's dark, and I'm like, I'll just creep into the garage.
Don't want to wake anybody up.
Yeah, and I did, yeah. So I kind of had a similar thing going. I grabbed a shirt that I didn't want to have. The shirt's kind of too small for me. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing on a Friday.
The whole thing.
Well, I could tell. I remember that when I was younger, whenever we would go stay with family members, I was the man on the totem pole that always had to sleep on the couch wherever we went.
You lost your...
I never got a room wherever we went.
Yeah.
Stay with aunts and uncles, stay here or there. And so I was always the couch guy.
I preferred that, though. It's personally, like, whenever I went somewhere, I had a little
being
brother.
couch guy?
Yeah, I do.
Did you have a TV, though? If you had a TV,
sometimes you had a TV.
It was pretty good.
The dilemma would always be that my mom is an incredibly early riser, and usually other people in the family would be as well. And prior to this psychotic
and you
job,
were in the
I
main
was
room,
not.
or
And I'm
near
just
the
in the
kitchen.
main. I'm in the main living room, and all of a sudden you hear coffee pots going at 5 and conversations are going, and I'm like, dude, I went to bed 3.5 hours ago. Like, what? No, it's not time to wake up right now. This is way too early, man.
Maybe it's because I always was a little opposite of that. I always just woke up early.
You're just ready to go. Hey, what's going on in the kitchen?
I kind of liked pretending I was on that hide a couch or hide a bed on the couch, sleeping while I heard the gossip, smelled the coffee, and could smell the bacon going.
Yeah, the
I
breakfast
liked that
gets
vibe.
going, and you're just eavesdropping on whatever conversations are happening.
You're pretending you're asleep.
Yeah.
Oh, is Brandon asleep? Okay, well, don't tell him.
This is going on.
So-and-so doesn't really love it.
Whoa, well, now I know that. I'm glad I got the answer to that question.
Uncle Charlie.
There we go.
That was, I was not granted a room in family vacations until I got married. When I got married, I was finally graduated into room status.
There we go.
But prior to that,
you were a full-blown adult at
then
that point.
finally I was, here you go. Welcome to having a door that you can close in
Until
privacy.
you show up with Teddy Ball Game, you'll be in a separate floor.
Exactly, yes. I wake up on the couch without a shirt on and my chest is just out and everybody's looking at me and I'm like, oh, okay, everybody's awake now. Good morning, family.
It kind of looks like your nipples leaking. You have a weird water stain.
Oh, it's probably pit sweat, to be honest with you.
But that's not on your pit.
You're already worried about Boise State,
I
are
gave
you?
it an itch. I mean, I am, absolutely. We're getting a little nervous here on a Friday. It's the tough part with wearing cotton T-shirts is that these things by the end of the show,
they breathe.
Oh, we're good. We're showing off today on YouTube.
I'm wearing a shirt that's too small. It's not very long. If I raise my arms, it's going to go above my little belly button.
Not a good feeling.
I don't remember. Oh, Eric Reveneau. Do you remember that name? Used to coach the Pilots.
How do you not? Pilot legend.
It looks like Swag's wearing one of his shirts. He's a 6'7" man, and Swag is wearing the biggest shirt I've ever seen in my life.
This is from the Fat Swag days.
I don't even know if that's Fat Swag. That's like 6'9"
This one might
Swag.
be double extra large.
That's a big and tall Swag collection. That I don't remember big and tall days.
He came in here to talk to me.
Down to his knees.
It was bakey yesterday, and it's not going to be much cooler today. Like, schools are getting canceled and let out early all over the place because the AC can't keep up.
My kids went to 2 days of school, and now they're a 3-day weekend.
So I wanted
already.
something roomy and breathable today.
I get it, but he came in
sense.
pre-show dirt. He came in to tell me about some audio stuff that he pulled, and he looked like he was wearing another man's shirt as if it was a nightie.
right.
He's wearing a 90s.
He looked like Ebenezer Scrooge.
What would we put the odds on Swigard sleeping in a Portland Pilots 90?
Oh, man.
Where do we put those odds at?
Plus 125.
Plus 125,
a little
yes.
plus money value,
Yeah,
yes.
it's got to be a little plus value. It's not likely, but there's got to be slight plus value on it.
I have him in a completely purple, it says Pilots on the chest, onesie.
Ooh.
And then there's a little airplane that opens the chute and the hatch so he can open it and pee. That's what I have him doing.
Time to land the airplane.
And the wings are on the side. And it's right there's junks in between the wings. And he's like, I'm got a tinkle.
It's a hell of a visual to open the show on a Friday. You know what? You could tell it is so funny how it's, I think we all get there this time of year because we're all excited. Just the NFL high that everybody has after last night. Like, who's not in a good mood after that game?
Still riding it, man.
That was such
Baltimore
a fun,
fans, but
sure, but it's
other
one
than that-
game. It's a regular season. Like, there's a long ways to go. It's amazing how different the morale is when you have something like that you watch before
something
going
you
to bed.
anticipate for,
Yes.
and it lives
For
and
months.
it delivers.
God, that was, oh my
It
God.
delivers.
That was so good.
Imagine being able to live up to that in your sex life.
Yes,
Like,
I'd never in a
the
million
wife's
years.
waiting for months, and you just come in and
You
you deliver.
deliver.
It's like, man,
No,
woo!
that's never happened.
It's not quite like that, but that
No.
one did deliver.
That's it.
I'll add it to you. Not only did it deliver, but there is a special kind of happiness in having a rooting interest, but not really having a rooting interest.
Yes.
And you just getting to sit back with no anxiety and no stress and go,
No.
ultimately don't really care what the end result is. I'm rooting for who I'm rooting for, but if they don't win, guess what? No big deal.
No, I'm definitely rooting for the Ravens, but it's not the end of my world if Kansas City wins because they're the damn Chiefs and they're probably going to win. And I've just accepted that fact. That
Yes.
That's the way the world's going to work.
Yeah.
So I will root against them at every game that they play because it's enjoyable, but know that, it's not going to end well for me. So just enjoy the product. And I needed a cigarette after that game last night, man. It was awesome.
I have one complaint. Well, I got a couple little complaints from the game that we'll get to today, but I have one pre-game complaint.
Pre-game complaint.
Yeah. Now, this isn't a shot at the artist. And no, I'm not talking about Taylor Swift, who looked quite hot last
I
night.
thought you were talking about Jack Collinsworth.
She brought her A game.
She did, yeah. Did you know her Eras Tour is coming back to the States in October?
Well,
She's got a little downtime before the tour. I learned that from Mike Tirico last night. Very good
There you
knowledge
go.
on the
I've
broadcast.
never been a big Swifty hottie guy. I thought she brought it last night. It was A1 week one for
Was
her
it
as
the
well.
denim or the boots that
It was
did it for you?
was the combination.
Okay.
I love some long boots. I love long leather boots. I don't know why or
Like
where
the
that comes
kinky
from.
boots.
Yeah, there's a little bit of thank you, ma'am. May I have another?
Those boots are made for walking. They're walking all over you, buddy.
Well, no, they're walking on Travis Kelce and his fake hair. We'll get
She's
to that.
almost 6 feet tall to begin with. So.
Is she really
Is she
that
really
tall?
that tall?
She's pretty tall. I think she's in the 5'10"
There you go.
area.
I don't know I'm forgetting the name of the song, and I meant to write it down. The singer was really exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
The Lift Every Voice?
Why? It is like a 6-minute song and nobody knows the words to it. And I'm just like, when did we start doing this song? I thought we had one song that we only seemingly sing at sporting events.
That's
and
it.
if we didn't have sporting events, nobody would sing the national anthem ever.
No.
When did we add Lift Every Voice, and when did that start?
That
did
was
I miss the memo?
That was a 2020 addition to the NFL. Now,
Okay.
I don't know if I don't think we do it every game.
No, they don't do it
Okay.
every game.
Just
Usually,
big games.
What don't I? Oh, but
no.
Week
It's
one?
most often, because I know the Hops did it as their Juneteenth celebration.
Yes.
I think that was specific in response as part of their recognizing the shooting that happened at the Super Bowl parade.
Oh, at the Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Oh.
I think this was a Chiefs thing. I don't think this was necessarily an NFL thing. I might be wrong.
Okay.
But they had a moment of silence for all those.
So I walked in right as they showed the gal, and I'm like, "What?"
That's right when I turned it on too.
And somebody's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just walked into the wrong."
No,
moment.
they had them lined up. They recognized.
I forgot about that. They had a shooting at the parade.
Well, there's so many.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I think it was part of that recognition of what had happened at the victory parade.
Okay.
The radio DJ that was killed.
Yeah,
and
I think that was the gal that they showed.
Yeah,
right?
up on the screen, and they thanked the first responders and whatever else.
Well, you made that make a lot more sense for me, and I will retract.
Well, the timing of it was a little weird to me too, because I also turned it on right during that anthem, and it was weird because I thought, okay, the game is about to start, and then they went to They did that, and then they went to commercial break,
and then they came back,
and then came back with more pregame thoughts, and then let's go to the national anthem. I thought, why wouldn't we just do them? But it's like when you play a hockey game and there's a Canadian team and American team.
Yeah, back to
here's
back.
your anthem.
Right.
Here's your anthem. Boom.
Right.
Let's go play some hockey. And
I think that was a
weird.
Chiefs thing that they
just
were going to do, and then
because of
maybe
that.
NBC and the NFL
We
said,
definitely do that for the Super Bowl now. That song is sung in every Super Bowl now. Now every regular season game, but definitely every Super Bowl.
Okay, well I didn't.
Yeah,
I think
right over the head.
That's what I surmised from it. I could be wrong. Maybe that was an NFL thing, but it was. They sang the song after they recognized the DJ.
The singer just absolutely annihilated the song.
She did all. Both anthem singers are really good.
Well, did you notice the national anthem gal? She had feedback or mic issues, and she just powered right the hell through
the playback,
that thing.
she was not happy with the playback.
She was playing with the ear, and she had a thing on the back, like the switch, and you could tell she was really annoyed, and she just hammered right through that
Not
thing.
an easy thing to do. You got about 40 million people watching you sing that national anthem. Good luck. Don't screw this one up.
Well, if she had feedback, you guys know, there's nothing worse than
nothing worse than the echo when
2 seconds behind
stuff's
you.
not
say,
synced
say,
up.
and the entire time.
And you're just like, well, I can't stop. I have to just
hold on,
keep
guys.
going.
Hold on. 1 second. Hold on. Can we just turn the music down for a quick second? I'm just going to need to fix this real quick, and then we'll get back into the
she
national
got right
anthem.
through that thing.
She did. That was wildly impressive.
I'm with you, though. Living up to the hype after months and months of buildup.
I'm on a high. I'm going to be on a high all day today.
I'm on a high.
feeling
We got some college football of local interest.
We do. We got another NFL game tonight.
More NFL tonight, Brazilian style.
I don't know how to feel about this game.
Brazilian style.
Did you see the Eagles fan rally?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
They
were in some Brazilian beer hall late. They were watching the Chiefs
game.
Ravens
and they're shown
game.
on NBC, and they have a big rally in Brazil for this. Sal Palantonio is saying that they are outflanking Packer fan 20-1.
I'm not surprised by that.
Well, it's not that I'm surprised. It's just that's going to, I mean.
It'll be a home game for Philly.
Which it should be.
Which it
was
should.
originally scheduled as a home game for Philly. But that is a massive gap, 20-1.
My favorite thing so far from them being in Brazil is that a lot of the reporters you can't tweet anymore in Brazil. They shut it down.
Oh, that's right. X was taken.
They can't. You don't have access to it, and so they're having to I think
Text
Diana
notes?
Rossini was saying this, that they have given their wives their logins. And they're texting their wives what to tweet, and their wives are tweeting them back from Philadelphia, Green Bay, or wherever they're from.
I mean no disrespect here, because I like that they're being smart about that, but is it even worth it at that point? You need the tweet so badly that you have your wife tweet.
We still going to get the game breakdowns from those people. First down completion, that makes it 2nd and 7. Like, do I need that tweet from you?
Sirianni says he went for 4th down because he didn't want to give Love ball back. Yeah. Tweet that. Thank you.
Tweet that.
Okay.
While they're taking care of cooking dinner back at home. Tweet it now! Tweet it now! I need it now!
Yeah, that's a weird.
It's very weird.
That's a weird deal.
The whole thing is weird. The Packers also have a 2.5-hour bus ride, I believe I read, from their hotel to the stadium.
Oh, they didn't stay in the city?
No.
Oh.
So,
Well, there were some reports that the crime rate in Sao Paulo is
it's
obscene.
They didn't
it's
want
not
to stay
some
there.
reports. It's through the roof.
There you go.
Did you see Giants wide receiver Darius Slayton have to go on Twitter and say, hey, shout out Brazil. I'm Darius Slayton, wide receiver for the New York Giants. not Darius Slay,
cornerback
for the Eagles who crapped all over your country.
Make sure we're getting this correct here.
Because he was getting threats.
Yeah.
He was getting international threats.
I don't want to deal with that.
I'm Darius Slay ton. There's a ton there.
Ton.
There's a ton of difference.
T-O-N. Add it to the end.
Well, we're fired up. We are ready to go on a Football Friday. Let's start with what last night was. There's a lot to get to from that. And then we'll kind of ease in. We'll talk some NFL Week 1. We'll obviously talk about the Ducks and the Beavs and big weekends for them. The Cougs, a big weekend for them. The college football slate's not amazing, but there's some games of note, so we'll get to that. We'll Sprague the line today. It is a loaded Football Friday. Let's get it going on the Fan.
Oregon Ducks.
yeah, it's Friday, 'cause I've been working all week.
This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
On 1080 The Fan.
Did you guys like NBC's pregame walk together and talk together with Maria Taylor, Jason Garrett? Did you see that?
I did not see that, no. We were on the field?
Yeah, they were walking by in one of the end zones, and they were like just giving analysis as they walked.
A walk and talk before the game?
Now, was that...
Seems a little excessive.
Was that planned, or is that because it started pouring and they were...
It seemed planned. It looked like a scripted walk, so it looked a little awkward.
I think of all the pregames, I think NBC's is my least favorite.
There's just too
There's
many
way
people.
too many people.
Too many people.
Have you seen how big the Fox and CBS desks are now?
I mean,
There's
it's
like 9 people.
They're massive. You're not wrong there. I feel like we got like 4 different studios with NBC. We have like 2
then
different
they had
field
the crew
crews.
that was in Brazil.
Yeah, Dungy, Jack Collinsworth, and Harrison, I think, were in
Harrison,
Brazil.
yeah,
so they
Rodney
had to
Harrison.
go to them for their analysis on this game, and then back to the on-the-field studio, and then the in the studio, and then there's just a lot going on. I'm excited for this game. I don't need that much
I don't need
breakdown.
that many people
Too many
talking at me
voices.
about one game.
What did you make of Travis Kelce's hair?
Surprised the mustache wasn't the bigger story.
The mustache, I'm used to the mustache.
I think we're used to cheesy bad mustaches
Yeah,
now,
okay,
and
okay.
it's kind of a thing.
That guy used to have a widow's peak with a shaved head, and now
He
he's
did.
got a full Tom Brady going on with an absolute
Yes.
dye job.
With a bit of a bowl cut, too. It's kind of a
Yeah.
weird Dumb and Dumber bowl cut situation going on. He needs to embrace his inner Brock Bowers, which I thank you to the listeners who tagged me in that video yesterday. I appreciate
You got
that.
tagged in a Brock.
Did you not see the Brock Bowers video? Yeah.
At the locker?
I
The
missed
locker,
that.
Brock. Yeah, just go ahead and search Brock Bowers on Twitter, and you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
So I appreciate the tags on.
I don't think you should have been tagged. That's a different level.
There was, hey, Dirt, it could be worse. Like, well, just tweeted back the Alonzo Mourning GIF. You're not wrong there. I guess you got something. He needs to embrace his Brock Bowers, man.
But he's
be
not
a bald
that
guy.
bald.
Be a bald guy. Maybe
Eh.
Swifty told him she would dump his ass if he didn't have any hair anymore. She doesn't want to be seen dating a bald guy.
I just thought it was that was the most obvious dye job I've ever seen, and
Yeah.
there's hair now, and I'm just like, what's going on here?
Is it worth it, you think? Because everybody knows exactly what you're doing. Like, do people forget? Do we get over it at some point? Is it just about looking in the mirror and feeling better about yourself? Like, everybody looks at Travis Kelce and Tom Brady and Brian Urlacher and all the people who have done it over the years. We all know what you're doing. You're not fooling anybody.
Well, but back in the day, it used to be more of, I think, of an awkwardness because most of them were just rugs. And so, like, nowadays, there's actual,
Yeah.
I have a buddy of mine that just, buddy, I worked with him. We were friends for a while, and, he moved to Dallas, Texas. I don't really talk to him anymore, but we follow each other. He just went to Turkey and got fake hair.
He went all the way to Turkey for fake hair?
All the way to Turkey.
Do they have better fake hair than us in Turkey?
I don't know.
Oh.
And he
need
was
the
like
answer to
filming
that.
himself and kind of documenting the journey, and was like, he's coming in okay, but he wasn't admitting what he was there, but it was fairly obvious because he's got a shaved head.
Uh-huh.
And so he had it just LeBron style put on there.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen a follow-up to it.
I
but
want the final photo. I want to know what happened in Turkey. I need an answer to this.
I think because of how far they've come from like a little black dust on your head
Yes.
and a carpet.
Or a Sharpie. Or
Now there's
yeah.
actual medical procedures to give you real hair. I don't know if people look at it the same. Like if you came in with fake hair, you were gone for 3 weeks, you didn't say why.
I'm on vacation. I come back and I got a full head of hair.
I think we talk about it, but I'm not shaming you over it. I wouldn't blame you whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not even
Is
a shame.
Jason Witten unhappy?
I don't know. What is Jason Witten doing now after he got turfed and broadcast?
I don't know, but his hair was obviously
Hanging out in
not
Dallas.
real.
They definitely had fake hair. There would be a very weird dynamic, I think, if I were to do that. Now, I'm not fully bald, but I know what my future is. I'm not lying to myself here. I know what the next 10 to 15 years look like for me.
But if you could get a medical procedure
I don't know if I
done,
would do it. I would.
Really?
I would feel weird looking in the mirror every day, to be honest with you.
what would make you feel weird about it?
That's not me.
You didn't earn this?
I didn't earn this. It's like getting skinny on Ozempic. Like I'm not knocking you for it, but You're cutting
drug
corners
is doing
here.
it, not you.
Exactly. You're Bill Belichick. I'm spying on the Rams practice. I didn't earn it fair and square. I'm Connor Stallions of hair growth and weight loss. I don't want to be Connor Stallions. I want to earn it, man.
Dude, you're going to take Ozempic and get fake hair. And you're like, who is this guy?
Come back after a month off, just be all skinny and chiseled with a full head of hair like Fabio.
Oh, man.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the show. What happened to your hair? Nothing. What are you talking about? It's always been this way.
I think as long as you just acknowledge it, you just go, okay, good job, man. It looks great.
It looks good.
I got no problems with it.
Does Travis Kelce do that to his hair if he's not dating Taylor Swift?
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
It is still cut at a 1.
Yes.
There's a lineup going on.
He definitely has a lineup.
Look, we know who Travis Kelce is. We all know who he is. We know those people.
He's got a bit of a Post Malone thing going on right now. Travis Kelce 7 years
He's
ago,
going into country.
very different than Travis Kelce right now.
How did you start? With braids and talking about Allen Iverson. Where are you at now? Long hair, country music.
Need a beer with my friends because I'm stuck in traffic. I'm singing country music now.
Let's just call that an illegal formation.
Yeah,
Travis
flag.
Kelce.
Throw a flag.
The first flag thrown on the Chiefs today.
Throw it right now.
Illegal formation.
Jesus, buddy. Can we stop blowing the damn whistle? Look, if you want to tell me that it is going to be consistent everywhere, all for it. You're going to tell me that these guys got to line up. You're not going to allow them to jump early. We're going to be throwing flags left and right. All for it. When you come out on the opening drive of the season, they still scored a touchdown despite it.
That was a great opening drive.
74 flags for illegal formations on the Baltimore Ravens. And then you flip over, and on Kansas City's first drive, their right tackle is doing what he always does, jumping about a half second before the ball is snapped. And it's just like, oh, whatever. What are you going to do?
Way lined up behind.
Way lined up behind and jumping early. The double whammy, 2 flags, pick your poison. You have to be consistent with it. It was an absolute joke last night.
So correct me if I'm wrong here. Maybe this is a text police correction because you may not know. But you just made me remember. I believe when Lane Johnson was famously doing this against the Niners in the NFC title game, and he was doing it in the Super Bowl, am I wrong in saying, didn't they say like something to the effect of allowing... There's a stipulation with it where he can move a little early and it's not a false start.
I believe I remember that. If you're close enough, they won't flag it, which is absolute horse ass.
It is absolute horse ass because every day of our lives, and no matter your age, that has been a false start.
You can't move early.
But because edge rushers are so incredibly athletic and gifted now, it's like, well, we'll give you a little bit of leeway here. And I believe that's why they don't call him for false starts, because he is absolutely, and he was doing this all playoffs and all Super Bowl.
The entire Super Bowl.
Committing false starts on every snap.
Yes.
What I'm confused about is what you said. They are trying to crack down on this illegal formation. They want you more lined up with the others. I was so stumped watching, and I didn't gamble on this game, so I had no lettuce writing on this. Stumped how Ronnie Stanley is technically off, but Jawan Taylor was not.
It did make, I don't understand.
He was more egregious, I thought, in lining up off than Stanley was.
I think you're supposed to be connected to the right guard.
Yes.
And neither of them were, but Baltimore, it felt like was the only team that got flagged for it all night.
Like 3 in a row on the opening
right out of the gate,
possession.
and then it lingered the entire game.
You know that old saying, they don't call holding every time. Well, they did on the illegal formation.
Yeah.
They certainly did.
Yeah, they're going to have to really give teams a little bit more detail on the precision of it, what they're looking for, what's going to draw a flag.
They became the story of the game.
Yeah.
Sadly, they did. It was a great game.
That's the NFL, though, isn't it? I'm back. Like, you just forget because they've been out of our lives for a while. I forget how much I hate NFL officials.
I just
and it's not an easy thing to do. It's a tough job. Yada yada yada. But
there's more technical,
specific
rules in football than I feel like is
very subjective things. So it's tough.
I think the other aspect of it is, and look, I am now officially in Chief Hater camp, and I've made this known. For a while now.
I
hate him. I don't want him to win again. I'm tired. I love Mahomes. I love Andy Reid. It's nothing personal against them.
You're an uncle on social media. We knew where you were going.
Exactly.
We saw your posts.
We don't need to show Taylor Swift 4 times during the game. Okay, I get it that she's there. She's very happy for Travis. This fake relationship can just go away now.
That's going to be a John Deere shirt next week.
It absolutely is. Get this off my TV. But you hate to go conspiracy theory guy, but when you hate something, it does lend its credence to it.
One conspiracy, okay.
I mean, when you come out with those flags for illegal formations on Baltimore constantly, we're not calling the same thing the other way. Later on during the game, at a pivotal snap, they allow Kansas City's defensive coordinator, Spagnuolo, to call a timeout.
Yeah.
That's against the rules.
It's illegal.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
And he goes sprinting down the sideline. I don't know if Andy Reid just can't move that quick and couldn't get the timeout in time.
No, Andy Reid didn't know he was going to call
He didn't know. They were just freaking out about the formation. Go call, and they granted them the timeout.
And he just laughs it off. He's like, I got away with it.
Oh, look at that. I guess we couldn't do that, but we got away with it, huh? It's like, man, the officiating, them winning by an inch, like, the hatred. The Taylor Swift mentions, it's just rising, the blood boiling.
You hate this team.
It's getting there, buddy. It's getting there. They were that close. They kept Katie away from tying the game and maybe winning the game.
3 Super Bowls. Here we go.
They've
Dirt
broken me.
them.
They have absolutely broken me.
Oh,
I just got done with Tom Brady dominating my entire life in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I thought, finally a respite. Finally some new storylines. And nope, here comes a guy who's already got 3 and he's going to win 4.
Well, let's talk about the actual football. Let's get away from officiating and conspiracy and borderline questionable white guy on radio ranting about things.
And we don't have to talk about them going for 2 if they would have made it or not.
God, that would have been such a fun end.
Let's talk about it. We were robbed. We were robbed of it. I mean, it was already a great ending, but it could have been a little better. Let's talk about the game stuff next on The Fan.
This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out their award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on The Fan, the Chiefs' quest for a three-peat took its first step Thursday night with a 27-20 victory that was not determined until a video review of the final play of the game revealed Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely's right big toe came down on the white line at the back of the end zone, voiding a chance for Baltimore to tie or win on the conversion. Patrick Mahomes finished 20 of 28 for 291 yards and 1 touchdown pass. Rookie receiver Xavier Worthy with a rushing and receiving touchdown in his NFL debut. NFL's opening weekend continues tonight. A first-ever Friday night game in Sao Paulo, Brazil between the Packers and Eagles. Philly 2-point favorites. Kickoff 5:15 on the Peacock Network. Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson, a limited participant in practice Thursday, dealing with the calf issue that kept him out of most of the preseason games. Justin Fields would get the start Sunday against the Falcons if Wilson can't go. The Oregon Ducks looking to make some giant leaps of development in Week 2, hosting the Boise State Broncos at Autzen Stadium. Kickoff set for 7 p.m. right here on The Fan. Our pregame coverage will start at 2 p.m. Oregon now a 21-point favorite. And the Beavers hit the road for the first time this season. They'll face San Diego State, a late 7:30 p.m. kick on the CBS Sports Network. Oregon State a 6.5-point favorite. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
It's The Fan on FM. Go to 99.5 FM HD. This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
on 1080 The Fan.
So I think yesterday the Bills probably also suffered a loss at the same level of the Ravens for many people. Xavier Worthy scoring 2 touchdowns, as you heard there from Tirico.
Yeah.
They traded with Kansas City in the first round. Kansas City went and got Xavier Worthy. They didn't. And so the Buffalo Bills took an absolute stray on social media yesterday because Xavier Worthy had 2 touchdowns. I understand that Kansas City does these things and they have success and they win. And in the same way we react to a close win by a good team or a loss, I was reminded football is back in my lives because we've all concluded Xavier Worthy is Tyreek Hill already. And it's been 1 week.
Yes.
And a blown coverage and Buffalo not having Xavier Worthy that we've concluded, oh, no, it's over for the league. I saw so many respectable pundits.
It's done, man.
Basically saying, it's over. There's not a chance. Just wrap it up. And I'm like, really? I mean, it was a good debut, but
it was.
Wow, okay, we're concluding the entire season's over because Xavier Worthy is a Chief.
I mean, it is a little funny how quickly we rushed to crown people. He had some great highlights in training camp. I want to repeat that. Highlights in training camp, and those went viral on social media, and it led many people to think that, here they go, the next Tyreek Hill. How did we let Kansas City get this guy? He might go on to have a really good career. To the larger point, he had 3 touches last night. 2 of them were touchdowns. 1 of them was because of a blown coverage. And Marlon Humphrey thought that he had help over the top. He was basically playing cover 2. There was no help over the top, and that's why he scored a second touchdown. He definitely brings a dynamic of speed and explosiveness that they've been kind of missing in that offense, and I think we can all acknowledge.
Yeah.
But this idea that we should already put him on a pedestal like a Tyreek Hill type of player is it's a bit over our skis for week 1 of the NFL season.
Well, one of my takeaways aside from his speed is he just looks tiny. And so, like, if he gets through a season, Tyreek Hill is not tall, but Tyreek Hill is built.
He's built like a brick house, man.
This dude is, like, skinny and small.
Yeah.
And so it's like if he can get through the first blank amount of weeks, sure. Like, I'll acknowledge if he becomes a next Tyreek Hill for them. He definitely adds wrinkles to what was, as we pointed out yesterday, a very mediocre to bad offense last year.
Yeah.
And that's not to mention they didn't have Hollywood Brown last night either.
No.
So he definitely adds a wrinkle. I just love that we've concluded anything and everything about Xavier Worthy as a Chief. The Ravens, we talked about the illegal formations. We may not have liked it. What did we make of what we saw from Baltimore? Because they seemed like a weird team last night.
Very weird. Good start, and then they went dysfunctional offensively for a while, and then fell down, and they were able to find their way back into the game.
That offensive line was just getting gashed by Chris Jones.
They were. Chris Jones dominated them, and I think that was the fear for Baltimore. I think they got 3 new starters up front on their offensive line, and so that's tough to figure out. I thought they ran the ball efficiently on their opening drive, which allowed them to get to all their play action pieces and getting Lamar out on the edge. And they were targeting Lively down the field, and everything was kind of flowing well. And then when you took that away, outside of Lamar scrambling and making plays with his legs, which he did a ton last night, Derrick Henry did not have that big of an impact on the game. His longest run of the night was 9 yards.
How many carries, though, did he have?
He only had 13 carries for 46 yards.
Why is that not 20 carries?
Yeah, I mean, it's the tough part. I think part of it is just Chris Jones.
Obviously a run. I think that's
when he's in the game. That's the tough part with him.
It's the one tough thing about Derrick Henry. He is a great player and has a great career. But I think if he's in, Baltimore's kind of giving their secret away. It's going to be a run. And so what do? They load the box up, tackle the big dude.
Yeah, to that point, Justice Hill, their other back, had 1 carry for 3 yards and then added 6 catches for 52 yards. And so when he was in the game, he was primarily a receiving target and not a rushing target.
Or a blocker of Chris Jones late in the game.
Or a blocker
which was
of Chris Jones.
What are you doing?
Well, and then they had the 4th down play, too, where Nelson Aguilar, I mean, we were making fun of the play on our text feed, but Nelson Aguilar was supposed to block the corner, and he just ran right by him. And if he does, Zay Flowers has an easy first down. And it's just a mix-up in game 1 of the season, which you're going to have for a lot of different teams. I want to see more of the Lamar, Derrick Henry zone read and unleashing both of them in the run game, because I think to your larger point, it is pretty obvious when he's lined up, deep eye back, like, all right, are you running left or are you running right?
Yeah.
And if we can stop this, we feel pretty good about our ability to beat you getting him in the backfield with Lamar and having them both be the threats to run that they are. I think they utilized that a little bit on the opening drive. Outside of that, not much. So they got to be able to run the football in order to win. That's always been their bread and butter, and Lamar was the only one that could last night.
Skinny Lamar was made a big deal. He's got some speed back is what they say. I love Lamar Jackson. Totally understand people that point to that game and say, see, that's why he's never going to win. I thought he ran too much. He
took a lot of hits.
The amount of hits, he was lowering shoulders.
It was. They lost the AFC title, man. He's been lingering and sleeping on that for months now.
I get it.
A lot of those were scrambles, though. They were.
Well, but that's good. That's what he should be doing. If there's nobody open, and I text this to you guys, Likely ended up having a big game after I had sent in the chat. You want Likely being your number 2 option. I think that's something to keep watching with Baltimore. Zay Flowers, he's good.
Nobody else can seemingly get separation.
Bateman had one catch that you remember from that game, and it might have been his only catch.
It's a hell of a catch, but yeah, he had 2, I think, on the night.
Their options are a little limited. And if Likely's not going to have a big game, Andrews is still working his way back. It's kind of like Zay Flowers and who?
Yeah, that's where Mark Andrews looked
a little washed.
60% last night.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 2 targets on the night. They need him to be another weapon because I'm with you. I think Lively can continue to develop into a really good piece for them. Likely, excuse me. But if he's your number 2 and you don't have a reliable number 3, that's where I think the strength of their offense should be based around having 2 elite tight ends and all the different things that you could do with that. But if Andrews is not going to get to back where he was before the injury, then you got issues.
Well, it came down to the wire here. Baltimore got the ball. They got to stop. They drove. It's 27-20. There's seconds left. Lamar missed. We thought it was a Zay Flowers throw. I was wondering if Zay was supposed to sit in the zone.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
But I don't understand the nuances of all that stuff. He misses the throw. Lamar says in the postgame that was actually for Bateman, which makes me go, woof, that was not just a bad throw for Zay Flowers, also a bad throw for Rashad Bateman.
You missed them both.
But he hit Isaiah Likely in the back of the end zone, and we all thought in real time, like, this is a touchdown. Here is Isaiah Likely. Where is it? Sorry, I should have found this cut. Oh, here it is. Thank you. Isaiah Likely, who had a toe out. He was a toe too long. He had a Kevin Durant moment. He was talking about the Chiefs in this game in the postgame. This is what he had to say.
I say this is probably the worst game we're going to play all year. So if this is their best that they got, I mean, good luck in the postseason.
I mean, why would you say that?
Why?
I just don't get it.
Why
would you do
unnecessary.
that? Great game. We were an inch away. Hopefully we get another crack at him in the playoffs. Like, that's all you have. Why?
I don't know. I don't know why he did that. He also had this. This is Patrick Mahomes was talking about Likely's just like a toe over the line. His advice for Isaiah Likely.
He's got to wear white cleats next time. That's my advice for him.
I mean, if he's wearing white cleats, I don't think it gets overturned. There would have been like, I can't tell. Is it on?
I think we would have still seen
the black is so obvious on the white, though. There's
know.
so many of those where it's like, I think maybe, but you got to remember there's got to be indisputable. They called it a touchdown on the field, so you had to have indisputable evidence to overturn it. My favorite tweet of the night, I think, was saying, do we realize that Blake I want to go Blake Lively. I don't know why. It's stuck in my head for some reason.
Isaiah
Likely.
What's your algorithm looking like right now?
You don't need to look into that. Isaiah Likely. Do you realize that his toe might end up dictating home field advantage in the playoffs?
Isn't that crazy?
That might be that. Like I don't know how the rest of the year is going to go. I imagine both these teams will be in the playoffs. They're very talented teams, but if that ends up being the difference between the 1 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seed, whatever, it's going to be hilarious to think back to opening night.
I also learned last night my dad is a coward. I'm like, if they score, you have to go for the win. He goes, no way, man. You got to go for overtime. You want to go overtime when Patrick Mahomes?
No.
You go for the win.
No.
And what were they going to do when they thought they scored?
Oh, he said 2 immediately.
Harbaugh said 2.
And he's done that before.
Hell yeah, and they should have.
But they had all the momentum. Kansas City on that last drive was,
They were gassed at the end.
They were giving it.
We got robbed.
We
were a half toe away from having either an amazing stop by the Chiefs on a 2-point conversion or almost a walk-off victory for the Ravens.
Speak for yourself. I ended up pushing the under bet. It hit the number 47.
It was 47.
It was 47 at DraftKings at close.
Sprague in the line, it was 46.5. Thanks for that one.
Oh.
Nice little 0-3 weekend.
Oh, you had the
I had the under at 46.5.
Yeah, I got it at 47.
47 to close, and they scored 47.
It's tough to do point spreads and over-unders of games a week out because so much can change.
It's going to move,
and
man.
you just took that one.
I took that line.
And you lost it by a half point.
I felt great in the first half. The first quarter, kind of some field goals
First quarter was a little dicey, though.
Yeah, the early touchdowns and then a lot of field goals.
I almost thought about saying something at the start of the fourth quarter, and then boom, boom.
Yeah, touchdown.
Likely and worthy.
Great. Great. This is awesome. Cool. There goes the under.
Very quickly, you guys have the same takeaway on, like, it kind of just felt like, damn it, if Xavier Worthy's healthy, just give him the crown.
I mean, there definitely is that vibe in the NFL. There definitely is. They're a cockroach.
Because their offense looked better and their defense is already good because they have the best
And they'll get
in the
Clyde
NFL.
Edwards-Helaire back for a little more depth at running back.
Watson was perfectly fine opposite Trent McDuffie. Justin Reed's a hammer. Like, I'm just watching this team like, damn it, dude. They're not going anywhere.
How do they keep getting away with this?
Nobody else is good.
No, I know. And then you got to remind yourself that Baltimore was an inch away, but inches matter, and they lost the game because of that. And so I hope we get a rematch in the playoffs. It was a really fun start to the NFL season, but definitely the cockroach vibe still alive.
All right, we got a lot more to get into. We'll dive into Oregon State football games that are happening this week, and a little bit of a light slate, I would say, in college football. And we'll dive back in. We got a lot of NFL to talk about as well. Dirt and Sprague, 646 on the Fan.
This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
on 1080 The Fan.
Well, timing is kind of everything. Oregon's got a big game this weekend. We didn't think we'd say that.
No, big one. Big one on the Peacock. Tonight on the Peacock, tomorrow on the Peacock. I watched the game last night on Peacock, too.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
I forgot tonight's game is Peacock exclusive.
Only on Peacock.
My dad is staying at my house. We stayed at the house last night, and he just happened to turn the show on literally as I went. And my dad's a coward.
Whoa.
Timing is just everything.
Just catching a stray, man. My brother's the same way. Every time Lanning has a call, he did this to me after the game on Saturday because Lanning went for it on 4th and 7. They got the false start, and then 4th and 2, they scored the touchdown.
Yeah.
And he was ranting and raving in my text, kick the field goal! Kick the field goal! Like, come on, man. It's not 1994 anymore. We have evolved our way of thinking analytically. And Lanning actually gave a good answer on that with Isaac and Suk yesterday. But it's just some people, man, they have a hard time adjusting to it. The go for 2 down by 14-1, that's always controversial when you get the first touchdown.
It feels weird.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But it's analytics, man.
I do the opposite to Kyle Shanahan. When he 4th and 3, he'll kick a field goal. And I'm like, you little chick. And then they'll win by 2. And I'm like, well, I guess that field goal actually matters.
Good call, Kyle.
Good job, Kyle. You're good at this, and I'm not. I'm on my couch.
That's why you're a head coach.
I'm on my couch telling you not to go for it. Polarizing takeaway, too. I don't mean to make the whole first hour one game.
I mean, that game deserved it.
But
that
was a great game.
That was an incredible game.
That's all we had.
Football team. This is all we had. Lamar continues, and just probably for his whole career, or until he's no longer elite, if he is even elite, just going to be a polarizing player. And last night was exactly why people love to trot out and say how not good he is or overrated he is. He obviously missed some throws, likely in the back corner of the end zone, which that looked disgusting in real time, that injury.
It did. It looked like he shredded his shoulder.
And then he comes back 2 plays later and catches what we think is the touchdown.
I wonder if he just got the wind knocked out of him. He sort of landed on his hip.
That was a big collision,
yeah,
for sure.
But he missed that throw. He missed a couple throws last night. He was 26 of 41, 273. He's just such a polarizing player, and it's just people on both sides. You know where I stand on this. I've made that abundantly clear. But I will also be honest. He absolutely missed some throws. But we're also watching Patrick Mahomes on the other side, and so it makes it
the
even
comparison's
more
a little out of whack at that
little
point.
bit, yeah.
I mean, you can't compare anybody to Mahomes. That should be lesson number one.
But this guy has 2 MVPs, and like, well, this guy has what does Mahomes have? 1? Does he have 2?
I think he's got 2.
Okay, but it's like this guy has as many MVPs as Mahomes.
2, but he also
like,
has 2 Super Bowl MVPs. 3 Super Bowl
I think he's been the MVP in every one of those. Yeah, somebody texted in, can you please address the bad throws by Lamar? Like, please, I counted at least 6 of them. Look, nobody's making the throws that he had on the last drive. The last one that was the 1 inch away from being a touchdown throw was a pretty solid throw. That was a clutch throw in that moment. The other 2 were ones that were horrible. The first one where he was going to the back pylon, the one we were just talking about, he was wide open and he airmailed him.
He saw
and that's
too late, and then he airmailed it.
Bad throw, bad read on his part. Nobody's going to make an excuse for that. The other one where there was the confusion, is he throwing to Bateman? Is he throwing to Flowers?
Well, he was scrambling at that point,
scrambling.
too.
Is somebody sitting down?
Improvisational.
That was not a great throw, and he missed 2 different wide receivers on the same play. Like, nobody's going to make excuses for those. I think the only thing that I will ever argue about Lamar, first off, stop comparing anybody to Mahomes. Mahomes is one of one. There's nobody that touches him in the NFL. You have to compare him with everybody else. Everybody else is in a fight for number 2, and Lamar is definitely in that fight. Is that when you're going to point out the bad throws, I will grant you that. But can the next text message be about how him running around literally kept Baltimore in the game? Yeah. And without him scrambling around and making plays with his legs, what is the final score of that game?
What do you have, 115 yards rushing?
122
just
yards.
Scramble, just carry it, just put the team on his back in the second half and said, I'm going to put my body on the line, and I'm going to carry us back into this ball game. And so he's a very unique quarterback to analyze, similar to the decisions to go for 2 or to kick field goals. He's a modern football problem where some people are stuck in the conundrum of looking at quarterback play in one singular way. And if you're not perfect at that singular way, we try and discredit you. Whereas I just think it takes more nuance, man. Like, he's not the most elite thrower of the football in the NFL. He never has been. Yeah. He never will be. What makes him dynamic is his ability to make plays with his arms and then add 116 on the ground. And so nobody makes excuses with the bad throws. But if you're going to criticize those, give him credit, because if he doesn't run, they lose by 20 last night.
I actually think the final thing on this, because I think you summed it up pretty well. I mean, we're talking about a dude that like 26, maybe 27 organizations would take right now as their starting quarterback.
Yes.
Even if they have one that they've paid, they'd be like, well, that guy wins. He's pretty damn good. The Ravens, I don't know if you've seen it in his career. They've had a lot of success.
They're in the playoffs every year. They're in the AFC title game last year.
They just haven't won a Super Bowl, and we already got into that. What I would say is I think last night's ending basically sums up the league. Kansas City's going to lose games this year. We don't know when. We don't know to who. They're going to. They're not going to go undefeated. But I thought last night basically summed up the AFC. Baltimore was 13-4 last year. They were the best team in football. They dominated the Niners on Monday night. They made everybody go, oh, this is the year. They're finally going to do it. I gambled on that team to win the AFC title game. They laid a dud. Who'd they lose to? Mahomes. What happened last night? They get to like the 6-yard line, last play of the game. They throw a pass, likely half toe is on the line, and we go, game over, Chiefs win. Oh, man, Lamar sucks. I thought that ending summed up the AFC and almost the NFL in general.
Yeah.
There are so many teams Baltimore's caliber. But what happens when you play the Chiefs? That thin margin between you and them having Patrick Mahomes, that's the difference.
That's the difference.
And they're a half toe, and Lamar getting that touchdown pass from maybe going for the win or maybe losing on a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because they have Mahomes. He's 20 of 28, and they win. It's poetic in a sense of this is what the NFL against the Chiefs and Mahomes basically is. Hey, we're 6 yards away.
We're right there.
And you're still 6 yards away. And that team will win in the most crucial of moments most of the time.
Because of him.
And we're arguing about Lamar when, look, you can tell me his accuracy is questionable. You can't debate if he's a top 5 to 6 quarterback. And if you do, argue with a wall. I don't know what to tell you at this point. He has had almost as much success as anybody not named Patrick Mahomes. But this is what happens. We start questioning players and their greatness and if they can do it because that's what the rest of the league is doing. You don't think the Niners last year were worthy of being a Super Bowl champion? What happened? Patrick Mahomes. And that summed it up last night, the way that game ended.
He's a problem, man.
He's a definite problem.
He's a damn problem.
And Chris Jones is a problem. Oh, my God. Do we give him the depoy now?
Just shoving offensive linemen out of the way.
My Lord.
Let's try and block that guy.
A lot to get to in the second hour. We'll pivot out of football, the NFL. We'll get back into the NFL. A lot of big games. We have one tonight. There's one on Sunday night. Interesting week 1 slate. We'll Sprague the line at 8:30. Hour 2, we kick off Ducks, Boise State. We care a lot. Hour 2 on the Fan.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
KFXX KWJJ HD2 Portland, an Odyssey sports station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by the Reynolds Defense Firm. If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys you can put your trust in. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today, online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on The Fan, the Ravens were within a toenail of having a chance to beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. But a video review of Isaiah Likely's catch at the back of the end zone negated it, and the Chiefs start their road to a three-peat with a 27-20 victory. Patrick Mahomes, 291 yards through the air and one touchdown pass. It was caught by rookie wide receiver Xavier Worthy, who also rushed for one earlier in the game. NFL's opening weekend continues tonight from Sao Paulo, Brazil. A first Friday game. Packers and Eagles do battle at 5:15 on the Peacock Network. Philly a 2-point favorite. The Ducks' last home non-conference loss was September of 2008 against Boise State. That's who's coming to Autzen tomorrow night as the Ducks look to improve upon a 10-point win over Idaho in their opener. 7 o'clock kickoff. We've got it for you here on The Fan. Pregame coverage starts at 2 o'clock. Oregon, 21-point favorites. Beavers hit the road for the first time this season. They're at San Diego State, a late 7:30 kick from Snapdragon Stadium on the CBS Sports Network. Oregon State, 6.5-point favorites. More sports scores and stories, 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Got a smart speaker? It's The Fan in your office and every room of your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan. Dirt and Sprague on Football Friday on 1080 The Fan.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously.
This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app, follow 1080 The Fan, and enable push notifications to get the latest on the Ducks, Beavers, Blazers, and more.
Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back in. Second hour of the program, Dirt and Sprague here on 1080 The Fan, the Odyssey app, 99.5 HD2, and, of course, YouTube.com. Good morning, YouTube. You guys are hot and feisty.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
It's a beautiful Football Friday. It's going to be a scorcher. My kids are not in school because it's too hot.
Just shut it down, huh? Don't even go in, not even in the morning, half day.
Yeah.
Just right out of the gate, 3-day weekend. Let's
Saw
go.
a lot of those. Saw a lot of school getting let out at noon, basically lunchtime.
I mean, it was hot as balls yesterday. I went out. I was going to grill some stuff yesterday, and I was outside for like 15 minutes, and I thought, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm going back inside.
Today you're supposed to have your air conditioner around 80 degrees if it lives up to the 102 billing, and I'm just going to chance it. I'm not going to be an 80 degree.
We're gonna risk it to get the biscuit today.
We are.
And that biscuit is being comfortable.
73.
And,
Let's 73.
Let's keep it hovering. Nice, cool town.
And anytime you get warm at 73, you walk out for 5 minutes and come back in, 73.
PGE's sending me these text messages. Hey, we really appreciate it if you dial back. It's like I randomly lose power like 4 times a year.
PGE is
I'm
getting dial it back.
If you please could, there's a lot of effort on the grid. Like about the 5 times a year I randomly lose power.
Yeah.
And it takes you 4 hours to turn it back on, and I don't get a discount on my bill for that. Now you want me to live in an 80-degree house? Not happening.
Hey, PG, I love you. We appreciate when you get our power back on. Why don't you send those notices to real corporations that are absolutely draining our power grid?
Yes, giant
it's
offices.
Not my house. That's like really.
I got a 1-story house, man. I'm not screwing up the grid with my 70 degrees.
We have a lot to get to. We'll Sprague the line at 8:30 today. It's our first NFL college football week of Spraguing the line. I still have a Spraguing line from last week lingering for tonight.
You do.
There's a weird kind of hang up there. I'm 1-1. Dirt went 0-3. Swag, what did you go? Did you go 3-0?
2-1.
2-1.
Arizona almost covered the big wood, but defense was a little porous at times.
We'll get to some NFL Week 1 stuff. I don't mean to we tend to throw point spreads and talk about rough gambling losses. I so far have not commented that I had Justin Tucker on my fantasy team, and so when he missed that kick, I hated him. But I do kind of want to go through like a survivor pool. Like if you're just talking about week 1 games, I think you can make a real argument. This is a very hard week.
Week 1's brutal.
Week 1 is brutal, and
you picked one quick, and I'm like,
that was the only one where I'm like,
the opposite way.
Survivor pool. I go, they're not losing this game.
I think that so of one team too, and then I talked.
I love the confidence, man. I'm never confident in a Survivor.
I'm not either.
Because I was looking, I was like,
oh,
I can see.
It's
and
like
there was one game I was like, no, the amount of things that would have to go wrong for this team to lose.
I disagree with that.
Wow.
I disagree with you on that one. I have one that I think that, but also I've talked myself on the other side of it. It's just crap team against crap team, good team versus good team, and I don't know what to make of any of them. So we'll talk some week 1. It is some college football this weekend.
Yes, it is.
This is the home of the Ducks.
That it is.
You will be on the pregame show, and you're going to have all kinds of stats and info that you will not share with us.
That's not going to happen.
Because the pregame show gets everything. But big game, Boise State, Oregon.
Yeah.
The line, to use Vegas as a reference, is moving in Oregon's favor. They are 21.5-point favorites. It opened at 18.5. Ashton Jainty's coming in off 6 tutties in a monster game. He's, at the forefront of the Heisman conversation.
Dude ran wild.
And Oregon was weird in week 1 against Idaho. It is Friday. Where are you at on tomorrow night's tilt in Eugene?
Yeah, I don't know if the Vegas trends are calming me down or making me more nervous. I'm stuck in between the two of them. I think the game opened 18.5, 19, somewhere in that range.
18.5 officially.
And it has been bet all the way up to 20. It's north of 3 touchdowns now. So a lot of money this week has come in on Oregon. And that is both reassuring that people think that, okay, it was an aberration and they're going to bounce back. Also alarming of like this many people are already jumping back on after they were ridiculed, rightfully so, for barely beating an FCS team on Saturday. I do think, look, last weekend was incredibly alarming, and your inability to run the football, the lack of push that you had up front, the lack of explosive plays, the penalties, the mental mistakes, there were too many red flags to even count from that game. I do think as the week has gone on, my pucker factor and fear factor has calmed a little bit. Now I'm still in a slight panic mode, but I largely am for every Oregon game, and I will be for every Oregon game the rest of the year. Next weekend when they play bad team, it's just the way that I operate day in and day out.
Next weekend's game's fun.
You got a rivalry game next weekend. I have a hard time wrapping my head around Oregon might not be top of the echelon national championship good. Like maybe they have a flaw here or a flaw there, or it is the offensive line or it's Gabriel, whatever, that keeps them from winning a national championship. That's a different conversation than saying you're going to struggle week in and week out to inferior opponents. And I just have a really hard time squaring that we were all, not just myself, we were all that wrong on our evaluation of this roster and the talent on this roster. I think the first quarter is massive for them tomorrow to just calm everybody down, to show that they have the ability to run the football, and to hit a big play or two. They didn't have a single run last week against Idaho that was longer than 20 yards. They only had a small number of completions that was longer than 20 yards. Almost zero explosive plays for that offense. It's inexcusable. And I have a hard time seeing with the talent on this roster, them go out and put that stinker up again.
So Lanning was on primetime yesterday, and you can find that interview at 1080thefan.com. He's on every Thursday at 4-ish. And he was asked kind of about, if you look at the stats and all of the numbers, looking at that score is weird.
Should have been a blowout based on the box score.
Well, that's a good, easy takeaway, I think, for you and I and everybody else to have. I thought his answer, the thing that I like about Lanning, I don't root for Oregon, but what I like about Lanning is he doesn't seem like this old red-ass coach who's just chewing guys, like Brian Kelly, banging tables and blaming people.
Not good enough.
You're $11 million a year coach, man. Look in the mirror. I like the accountability he holds, and he was red-hot pissed, but still went in the press conference and didn't throw a single thing under the bus. And yesterday he was basically asked, hey, the numbers say that you should have won that game by a wide margin. And I loved his answer. The score is what the game was.
Yeah.
Like point blank, yeah, sure, our stats were better. It was what it was. That's football. And I just like that. He it's not like he's going to come out like, yeah, we should have won by 50. But I just love that he's like, no, the score was a score. That was the game. The game was the game. It's pretty simple, man. We don't need to get more complicated and to say I think the biggest thing for Oregon this weekend, aside from just winning, show you can run the football. And it's just really that cut and dry. If you can run the football and not have Noah Whittington averaging like 1.9 yards per carry and be, above 2.9, I think everybody breathes a sigh of relief. Now, if your defense is going to get gashed by Ashton Jainty and Boise State, that'll be a different conversation, but that wasn't the problem last weekend.
No.
It was the push up front with the run game and primarily with one back in because Jordan James's averages were okay. Run the football. You talk about explosive plays. Yeah, have 15, 20-yard runs. Be the team that many thought you were going into the year and show us if last week was just a weird, there's message board stuff out there about were they sick, were they hungover? I don't know any of that. But that's a conclusion that you draw to when you see them play that poorly on the offensive line against that team.
I'm curious, for both your perspectives, does a quarterback need to be more of a threat to run, let alone run more?
He had some moments. They noted it on the broadcast late in that game where it was like he could have pulled that down and ran for 6 to 10 yards, but he would throw a ball and it, he didn't have very many incompletions, but he'd miss it. And I thought that was a good point, and that was something we talked about a little bit going into the year. Was Bo clearly had a thing with the coaching staff of last year? I'm not going to get hurt, okay? I'll be great, and he was great. I'm wondering, given this is Dillon Gabriel's only year, is there a reluctance to want to run and get hit, or is that just maybe just game one and we're wondering, but he'll use his legs more?
Yeah, that to me is more the latter. Dillon Gabriel to me is not in that same line of I'm playing to be a first-round NFL draft pick. Bo Nix had that potential. Dillon Gabriel is a great college quarterback. I don't know what his skills are at the next level. And I think he's going to do whatever it takes to win this year. To me, that gets back to the conversation that you have in opening weeks of how much are you holding close to the vest and how much are you unveiling. And if I go into that game as if I'm Will Stein playing Idaho, I am calling 0 quarterback design runs. 0. Because, one, you shouldn't need him to win the game. Now it ended up being more uncomfortable than you wanted it to be. But I'm not going to risk getting my $3 million transfer quarterback injured against an FCS team in the first week of the year because somebody lands on him weird because I called his own read and he decided to pull it. I'm not risking that. So I would be shocked if he does not run the football this weekend. The ones that you pointed to, and this is where I'd be fascinated to talk to him about it, he had opportunities where he moved up in the pocket and there were gaps. And those were his decisions to not run the football.
To throw him.
But I think this, to Swag's question, is there will be a big part of their offense, and it was at Oklahoma. The design quarterback runs will be a part of the Oregon offense this year. I just think that was a case of we're not unveiling that against Idaho. We shouldn't have to. And I think you'll see more of that as the season goes on. I'm also glad you brought up Noah Whittington because when you dive deeper into the numbers, I've rewatched the game 3 times now. I'm a sicko. I do think this is something
to. Sir, can I have another?
This is something to keep an eye on, though, because Jordan James did not have a dominant game, but he was fine. He averaged 5-6 yards a carry. He was fine. He was not the issue. He did get tackled by the turf monster too many times, but he'll fix that. Noah Whittington is coming off of a devastating injury last year. And we just got done with this conversation about Mark Andrews in game 1 last night. Coming off a bad injury. How's he go? Game 1s are always a little weird for these guys. First game back, you're probably not 100% confident.
You don't want to take a hit.
I don't want to get hit. Am I going to hurt again? Can I cut this quick? Watching what he looks like in game 2, and if that problem lingers and James is averaging 5, 6, 7 yards a carry, they bring in Whittington. He's a step slower. He's not cutting the way that he should, and it's 2 or 3 yards a carry. Oregon has a lot of depth behind him. Jaden Lamar is a guy that everybody's really high on and had played a lot as a freshman last year. I don't believe he had a single carry in the game this past weekend. Does that become something that you pivot? And he ends up getting some of those number 2 carries behind Jordan James because Whittington just isn't there yet. I'm going to give him time. I'm rooting like hell for the kid, but he was not at 100% last week, and that cannot be something that you let linger all year.
We'll get to the Bees eventually. I got a couple little things I want to – you pointed there, and I wanted to kind of carry over to the other side. Also just noting, is Jordan James more of a workhorse than splitting up the reps evenly between him and another back? I think that's another interesting part of this. He had 95 yards at a 6.3-yard average on 15 carries. If Whittington is sitting with what you're saying, some uncomfortableness coming back from a massive injury.
I think it's just maybe confidence, too. Just not confident in the knee yet.
Is it fair to say Jordan James is a 20 to 25 carries a game back? We're getting a little bit more of that. We'll get into the Beavs at the bottom of the hour. Dirt and Sprague back with more on the Fan.
This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
on 1080 The Fan.
All right. 7:20 a.m. Bright and early. Happy Football Friday, everybody.
Hey, Otis, he loves us.
How the YouTube's doing? Are we doing good on YouTube?
Oh, everybody's yelling about stuff. Everybody's fired. Football season, man. People are fired up.
They watching at the Dexter Lake Club for us this
They
morning?
should be.
Yeah.
Well, if you mentioned something, we'll get to the Beavs. They got a big road game. Just curious to see what they look like. San Diego State came in. They're kind of a notable program in the Mountain West. They may not be the top Mountain West team by any stretch.
No, I think they struggled last year.
Nevada almost beat SMU. UNLV looked good, and Boise State has
Who did UNLV
expectations.
beat? Houston, right, in week 1?
They didn't just beat them.
They blew them out.
Destroyed
That's a
them.
bit of an eye-opener for the Rebs.
Also, a little surprised to see Houston UNLV only had 172,000 viewers.
What channel was it on?
I don't know. Oh, I think it was FS1.
FS1 game?
But like,
What were they up against, though?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Texas. I just think
That
Texas.
game got
team
in my lost in my shuffle this week.
I kept following it, but I wasn't like. Anyways, my point is, San Diego State may not be very good, but we had circled it because they have a decent stretch history here going in the Mountain West. We'll get into that. So your Noah Whittington point, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about Oregon, big game against Boise State, which is not something we thought we'd say, but here we are, right? Another fight against the Spuds. You slow down Ashton Genty, all right. Offensively, running the football. Could not do that very well, at least the caliber that you want against Idaho. You mentioned Noah Whittington. If Noah Whittington is indeed going to take a few weeks to get back to his old form, or maybe it's a longer period than that, you mentioned a young player behind him. Jaden Lamar, who didn't have a single carry last week. I'm kind of asking, Jaden Lamar may be brought up as they try to bring Noah Whittington back, but should you do that? Or is Jordan James, because when I look at Jordan James, I see a premier back. I thought that's what we would see.
Yeah.
I wasn't, I guess, mentally ready for the split carry thing. And so I'm more wondering, is Jordan James a 20, 25 carry guy? He was given 15 last week, and he had damn near had 100 yards. Good average, bigger body, physical back. Turf Monster got him. But, like, is Jordan James to you a 20 to 25 carry guy, and maybe that's what you do as you try to bring Noah Whittington back?
I think, yes, he is capable of doing that, and I think he is the most underrated player easily on this team. I think Jordan James is a monster. Seeing his growth physically year in and year out, Anthony and I were down on the field before the game last week just joking about, like, Jesus, man, he is just massive, and how much bigger he's gotten is incredible. He had 19 touches for about 140 yards last week, and that was
remarkable.
Without one of his catches that was called back on an illegal formation because the right tackle was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. That then led to them missing the field goal. They would have had 1st and 10 at the 10. He had like a 25-yard catch all the way down to the 10-yard line that was overturned. He's dynamic catching the ball. He's dynamic running the ball. What their game plan is at that position is very interesting to me because I am concerned about Noah Whittington not being 100% confident in his knee. He didn't have a carry of longer than 8 yards against Idaho.
Maybe he snaps it this week.
Maybe he
yes.
does. Not all of that is on him. The offensive line by no means was dominant last week, but Jordan James averaged more than 4 yards per carry more than Noah Whittington did, and it was the same offensive line. So he was still able to run the ball somewhat efficiently. I think James has the ability to be that every down bell cow back. Oregon has always been a team, though, under Lanning, that has rotated very frequently, and they want to keep their guys fresh, and they want to keep their guys healthy. And I think the carry workload last week would be more so, again, similar to the Gabriel front, of like, dude, we're not giving Jordan James 30 carries against Idaho.
Yes.
Like, why would we
Yes.
wear and tear his body? 19 touches is enough, and get him the hell out of there because we're going to need him healthy in a month and 2 months and 3 months down the road. And I think the hope was Noah Whittington was ready. To me, it's something to keep an eye on. In bigger games, I do imagine James will get the bulk share of the carries, as he should, because that dude's a stud. Behind him is where that's a question mark. Is Lamar ready to take on that role? He played a lot as a freshman, but no carries in week 1. He was on kickoff return, I believe, but I don't think they returned a single kickoff. So he's played a lot of football, a year plus into his career in Eugene. Is he ready to fill that void? Does Whittington get the confidence and the health back to be that number 2 back? Because that is such an injury-prone position, similar to Whittington last year, that you're going to want to have another guy that you can rely on. I have zero questions about James. I just wonder who's ready to be number 2, and can Whittington get back to that?
And as much as we question the offensive line and the push and the run game stuff from a week ago, I think the reason I keep coming back to the same thought or feeling of this game going in is because I saw a good defense. And I don't know if we got an update on Bassa. I know he
is going to play.
He's going to play, yeah.
That was we're playing Idaho.
Yeah,
Get
so
him
go
the hell
ahead
out
and
of the
rest.
game.
I kind of keep coming back to we'll see what Boise does. Maybe they can prove me wrong. I just don't know if Boise's going to be able to push them the way they push Georgia Southern for Ashton Janty. And if you take him away or slow him down, I just have a hard time seeing Boise having that kind of success. The defense wasn't the problem a week ago. It was probably more the solution than anything. And if offense can get somewhat right, I just keep coming back to the defense facing a team that's going to be so reliant on one player.
Yeah, and that's where I think I'm excited about the matchup because this is going to be similar to what you see a lot of in the Big Ten. I mean, when you look across the Big Ten Conference right now, how many teams would you label as an explosive passing attack?
USC might, maybe Penn State, but USC.
Ohio State wants to be.
They couldn't last
Their
week.
first half wasn't great, but maybe they get there. They got great wide receivers.
They do.
I'm not super high on Will Howard, but
Fickle
maybe they get there.
is trying to install that in Wisconsin, but not yet.
So by your definition, I would say so far for me, because Penn State prove it, Ohio State, let's see what you are a little bit. I would say USC.
Okay, and USC's not on Oregon's schedule this year. So when you're facing a team that is going to rely on their bell cow running back, this is what you're going to see a lot of in the Big Ten. Michigan's going to try and do this. Wisconsin's going to try and do this. Michigan State's going to try and run the football. This is the bread and butter of that
Maryland likes
conference.
to sling it around.
They like to sling it around.
Tua's little brother still there?
No, he's not still there anymore.
No, he was not granted another year.
7 years of college was enough for him, and they booted him out.
Can I interrupt you, too, on that point? That was what all the jokes were last week, which actually lined up to be decent.
Oregon just wanted to be a Big Ten team?
Yeah, Oregon lost. They had to sacrifice some of their explosive offense to be a Big Ten team. Washington, how did they beat Weber State? They just ran Jonah Coleman
the ball,
all over the field. USC, suddenly they're physical and they can play defense. It was like all the jokes kind of wrote themselves about the new Big Ten teams. And hey, welcome to this conference. We play a little ugly, but we play physical football.
It was kind of funny to watch a lot of Big Ten football in week one and them seemingly fitting right in. I think Oregon's defense is nasty, and I'm really excited to see what they do against maybe the best running back in the country or one of the guys that's in that conversation. He had 6 touchdowns in week one.
He's a fun player, that's for sure.
He's a dominant back. And so if you can build that confidence defensively of all right, we bottled this guy up, we held him to 3.4 yards per carry, whatever the case may be, held him off the scoreboard for the most part, it's going to give you a lot of confidence going forward, and I think Oregon's defense is up to the task.
Oregon State goes on the road this weekend. They go to San Diego State. That's a CBS
Snapdragon Stadium.
Is that the name of it?
That is, yeah. You guys getting your Snapdragon on this weekend?
Well,
it is a cool looking stadium.
It's a great stadium. I thought you made a good point. Of all the road games this year for Beaver fan, if you invest in one road game, why would it not be San Diego?
Yeah.
7 o'clock at night. With 70-degree temperatures.
Exactly.
I mean, the only other
you're hanging out in the Gaslight District, having fish tacos.
Is there a
and
Padres
margaritas
series going on? Because talk about double dipping.
Yeah, I was going to say UNLV would be the only other one, but you get them at home. It's not in Vegas. That would be the only other trip that would compare.
I would. Yeah, UNLV's not bad because you go to Vegas, but I would also respond with: is UNLV got any fans of football? Note.
No, they play at the Raiders Stadium, and I think it's largely empty.
So I don't. I mean, maybe see the Allegiant
It's not
Stadium.
it's just to
Padres
go to
hosting the Giants this weekend.
Hey.
NL West tilt. Padres are in the playoffs. You get playoff baseball, and the Beavs kicking some Aztec ass.
Look at that.
That's a nice little weekend, maybe ahead of yourself.
Little parlay action, if you will. College football and Major League Baseball. You got to do them both.
We've got a lot of night games that we care about locally here. Let's talk
do.
about Oregon State going on the road into that. A little bit of the slate of college football. It's not as great a slate this weekend, and then we'll dive heavy in some NFL stuff. Week 1's pretty good. Dirt and Sprague back with more, but first, Swag with the Sports Update.
This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan. Well, the NFL, oh, how we missed you. The opener provided everything fans could have wanted and then some, unless you were rooting for the Ravens. It appeared Isaiah likely caught a potential game-tying touchdown or winning based on the conversion in the back of the end zone as time expired, but video review showed his right big toe was on the white line. Chiefs survived 27-20. Patrick Mahomes, 20 of 28, 291 yards and 1 touchdown pass. It was to rookie wide receiver Xavier Worthy, who had a rushing touchdown as well in his NFL debut. Tonight, the NFL goes to Brazil for the first time. Sao Paulo will see the Eagles and Packers do battle at 5:15 on the Peacock Network. Philly a 2-point favorite. Ducks are looking to take some giant leaps of development in Week 2, hosting the Boise State Broncos at Autzen Stadium. Kickoff 7 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll have it for you right here. Our pregame coverage starts at 2 o'clock. The Ducks have grown to 21-point favorites. And the Beavers on the road for the first time. They are at San Diego State. It's a late 7:30 kick. You'll be able to see it on the CBS Sports Network. Beavers, a 6.5-point favorite. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
One number does it all for contests. This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
On 1080 The Fan.
All right, we'll get to the full slate of the college football weekend at some point. Not a great weekend, but some interesting games. A big one up in Ann Arbor. We got to get our NFL Week 1 on. There is a game tonight, and we got a Sprague the Line coming up in about an hour. So get your fake sponsors in to the Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. We just got done talking about my pucker factor, which is there, but has loosened ever so slightly as the week has gone on.
That's good to hear.
I just, I wanted to update you guys on how
Loosening
my pucker's
on the
going.
pucker.
You just
Okay.
want to be loose. You want to be nice, loosey-goosey down there. Where are my beeves at? Where are you guys, and how tight are you down there?
Not very.
Not very tough. We're nice and loose?
Kind of getting overly confident.
Oh. Now, does that make you re-tighten or no? Okay.
Kind of doubling down on
it. We're getting even wider.
I just don't think San Diego State is very good. And reading a little bit about them, Sean Lewis is hoping to kind of revamp that thing into what it was a couple of years ago, but I don't
After getting railroaded at Colorado last year?
Well, he did get absolutely he got screwed in that. I just don't think that they're there. I think going into the year, they're an easier team to say in the Mountain West conversation because of what they've been.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're that team this year upon digging into it a little bit. So weirdly kind of confident in Oregon State's ability defensively to slow them down. They had 6 points 3 points at the half and limit them offensively, and then their ability to run the football. I just think they should be able to do that. And so hold this for Monday. Going in weirdly confident in Oregon State's ability to win at San Diego State.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good matchup. I think the things Oregon State does well matches up well with San Diego State.
I mean, their offense is Marquez Cooper. He ran for 230 yards in the first game, and that's what they're going to try and do.
And so we saw, San Diego State still working on the passing game. Oregon State, it took them a while to figure out how to generate some pass rush. The biggest concern I had coming out of the first game was, are they going to be able to get there with 4 guys? Can they put pressure with just the front 4, or are they going to have to bring linebackers and safeties all the time, which is not going to be an issue down the road?
Live by the fire, die by the fire.
That's still an issue for me. I'm not going to take Idaho State and say they've solved that.
But just not an issue for this week.
I don't think it's an issue for this week.
Right, because here's the thing. You talked about passing offense with Oregon opponents in the Big Ten. I would basically say if I knew San Diego State won because of the pass, I wouldn't be here telling you that I feel good. That is still an area that I know Idaho State didn't win. I know after they took a 9-7 lead, the Beavs basically pulled away. I still don't know what Idaho State's coach was doing. We had a Hawkins on the sidelines, and he kept switching quarterbacks, and they didn't play their better quarterback.
2 Hawkins on the sidelines.
Too many Hawkins is what I would say. But I still am wondering if they're susceptible to good passing offense. But I know San Diego State doesn't have that. So because they're so dependent on Cooper, I think it's just why it goes up into your matchup advantage. If they were a passing attack, I wouldn't be telling you that I'm feeling all this confident. But because of what they are, here I am thinking Oregon State could win by double digits.
Should be able to bow your back and slow down the run game. Their starting quarterback, San Diego State's Danny O'Neal is his name, not the one in Seattle. He is from Indianapolis, and he is a freshman. He's a true freshman quarterback. Last week was his first game. He was 22 of 33, 214, 2 tuds, no interception, so he protected the ball. He can run a little bit. He had about 20 rushing yards. He did have a 30-yard run in the game, so a guy that can extend plays a little bit, but I think there's a confidence of we're playing a true freshman quarterback.
Yeah.
We should be able to handle that well.
I think of Trent Bray playing Dante Moore last year when UCLA came to town. True freshman quarterback.
It went horrible for him.
2 pick sixes. Here you go. Get out of the game. Like, this is what Trent Bray and Keith Hayward – they should be licking their chops at this opportunity. Blitz the hell out of this kid.
So the confidence is feeling good. We went over for Oregon. You want to see him run the football a little bit better. Want to see him be, explosive plays, all that kind of stuff. Are we okay with another week of just run? Is just whatever it takes to win? Do we want to see more? I thought McCoy was fine. They didn't ask him to do a lot. I like the one deep ball touchdown that he had.
10 passes.
He only threw his 9 of 10, so he's efficient. Give him credit for that. And the tutty was a nice ball.
I think that's
do we want to see more from him this week? Or just follow the game plan and win the game running the football?
I think let the game plan, make them stop you from running and see what they're going to do and see if, okay, we got to walk up a safety. We got to bring, if the game plan then will dictate whether it's play action, whether it's quick slant, whatever they're doing, make them stop the run or figure out how to load up against it and then see what that presents you for to take advantage in the passing game and do it that way. I don't need to see him throw it 25, 30 times. Well, if he throws it 20, great. Complete 14 of them. Let's go.
See, if he throws it 25 times, that tells me they slowed the run down a little bit, but they're doing the Dylan Gabriel run /pass thing where they get Hankerson dump off screen and pick up chunk yards.
I think the reason I asked that question was because you should win this week. San Diego State's not very good. They're a touchdown favorite in this game.
Yeah.
The next 2 are big, and I think you want him to have confidence, and you want to have confidence in your passing game. whether you think you have a chance to win the Civil War or not, that is next week. And then the next week you got Purdue at home. I don't really know what to make of Purdue. They played a nobody in week 1 and they blew them out. Yeah. So I don't know how good they are. But that the competition will upgrade the next 2 weeks. And there's an aspect of wanting him to have confidence and all right, we can sling it around a little bit and be multidimensional.
Sometimes, though, you build confidence even without having to overextend yourself. So if he goes out there and he's, let's call it 10 for 14 or 11 for 13, he has something similar, but he's not asked to do a whole lot, he might go into those games. And now Oregon is a different animal and a different conversation. He might go, though, into those couple games and think, I can handle my part of this. They're not beating Oregon if they can't run the football. We can have all the talk about McCoy we want. If they're absolutely shut down from running the football, they will not beat Oregon. Not a chance in hell. And that's not necessarily a negative on him. It's just kind of a reality. This is his first year at this level. This is a step up from where he was. And then Oregon is a step up from that. So this week is not a mandate. If you can run the football successfully and win the same way you won last week, do it. If he throws 25 times, let's talk about what those 25 passes are, because I would venture to say it's going to be a little bit of they slowed the run game, but they extended it with dump-off passes, and that's why he threw 25 times.
Yeah, we're going to have to are we triple screening tomorrow night? How are we doing this? So you got Ducks kickoff at 7 on the Peacock. 7:30 is the Beavs on CBS Sports Network, and then you have the Cougs, also a 7 o'clock kickoff, Fox.
Yeah, so it'll start with Ducks on big screen, Cougs on iPad.
Okay.
And then I'm going to see what YouTube TV offers me with the Beavs and the Cougs.
You should be able to Beav and Coug dual screen.
And then I can put the Ducks on the iPad and have all my bases covered.
There you go.
Because having 3 games at once, you can certainly say, well, you missed this play. Yeah, I might miss a play. God bless the replay after every play. But also, the red zone's helped me navigate quad boxing, and
you know how to look back and forth.
I know how to look at everything.
You flip the audio back and forth too, which helps you focus on the game that's on. When one's in commercial, you flip the audio over to the other one.
I've determined the capacity is 4 games. Like I can keep track, not like play for play, but keep track.
Very confidently keep track of
4 games simultaneously and know which one. Okay, this is a key point. I'm gonna focus on this one for a minute.
That's a good question, a good poll question. How many games can you actively say you're keeping really good track of at one time? I think 4 is.
I think I'm at 3. Maybe I just have I don't have the brain bandwidth that you guys
have. Because I think
I'm
about
at 3. Like 1 on the big screen and then 2 like a dual screen on the iPad. That's probably what I'll do. Duck game, big screen.
Did you not do the quad?
Cougs. I mean, I do the quad. The quad comes up, but
YouTube TV opening weekend had some quad action.
I'm mainly a dual box guy.
The one I would prefer is 1 big one with 3 smaller ones below it. If you had the chance to do the dynamic screen there.
Heavy evening slate or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, they're all the local games.
Well, there's the big games in the morning, and then it's kind of
the dogfight between USC, Utah State, 8 o'clock kick on the Big Ten Network.
And I'm not particularly hyped for Tennessee, NC State, to be perfectly honest.
It's a 4:30 game, I think, tomorrow.
I'll turn it on and
4:30 is also Colorado, Nebraska.
Yeah, let's get into that a little bit next. So, your thoughts are welcome on the Beavs. Are you with Sprague? Are you nice and loosey goosey going into this one? 503-864-6326. That is the Vancouver Ford text line. You can also get your fake sponsors in for Sprague in the Line, which we will do coming up at 8:30. Let's get to the rest of the slate in college football this weekend. Excited, not excited? We'll dive back into the NFL coming up at the top of the hour. Back after this on the Fan.
Who's stinking it up?
Woo! Do not go in there.
It's time for Who's Stinking It Up, a sports lowlight that's ripped from the headlines.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Brought to you by 3 Mountains Home Services. Schedule your appointment online at 3mountainshomeservices.com.
Yeah, they put a thing out that they said they were going to call that differently. It'd be interesting to see if they call it the same way the whole season. And I'll challenge them to call it the same way they called it tonight the whole season. So hopefully they'll be consistent about that.
Yeah, there's John Harbaugh, not happy. His team lost a pivotal game, but also got called for 1 million illegal formation penalties. Funny, the Chiefs didn't, and both tackles seem to be in the same spots.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes walked up to the rest afterwards, said, "Good game, guys, good game." They did a jersey swap and everything. We just picked up right where we left off from where we left off from the Super Bowl. The officiating was bad. Ravens had chances to win the game. They shot themselves in the foot, including missing throws on the last drive.
Who's stinking it up? Those 3 flags on the opening drive for illegal formation by the NFL officials. Brought to you by 3 Mountains Home Services. Make your home services delightful. Let the pros tackle the projects you need completed. Schedule an appointment online. 3 Mountains Home Services. Guys, that's 3mountainshomeservices.com.
It's crunch time. Let's go! Where Dirt and Sprague crunch the hot topics you want to hear.
What's the pressure? Don't sit here and act like there's no... We get nervous teeing off in front of a gallery on the 10th hole at Eastmoreland.
Crunch time, brought to you by Crunch Fitness, with memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com.
Hey, Crunch Time brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 a month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, online at crunch.com. I want to dive back into the NFL coming up at the top of the hour. We will Sprague the line coming up at 8:30, so get your fake sponsors in.
Are we going to dive into the Nuggets drama? Any NBA talk today?
Yeah, I was actually going to do NBA for like the whole final hour. I just had it in my notes. It's ready to go.
I don't even know what the Nuggets drama is.
I mean,
nobody
Malone
cares.
Basically hates the front office.
Oh,
okay.
Calvin Booth.
Hey, is it December 26th right now? Okay, why don't you pipe down over there, all right?
Come on.
Just,
You mean October 22nd?
No,
I mean December 26th. Because it used to be the 25th. Now you don't get the 25th anymore. The NFL's commandeered the 25th.
I would
I'm
argue
the captain now, and you get the 26th. I'll give you that.
I'd argue you and and most of America to start saying April. You guys
MLK Day kind of, I'll give you that. Football's winding down. MLK Day is not bad. Middle of the end of January.
Yep.
Poll question is up at the Dirt and Sprague account. Go follow it. We'll follow you back. Are you nice and loosey-goosey for the Beavs' chances to win in San Diego?
Cowards, all
on
of you.
Saturday right now, very early returns. 73% of people saying no, not loosey-goosey.
Right in the butt.
One text at the Vancouver Ford text line. Beaver fan here. I did not have the overreaction that so many Beaver fans had this last weekend. Tomorrow's game will decide if last week was an overreaction or not. San Diego State is not a great team by any stretch, but a team that you should have to try a little harder to beat.
Agree.
And if Oregon State struggles with that, then we are in trouble. It's funny how our two fan bases are almost like Spider-Man memeing of like, we should win. I feel pretty good, but if we don't, we got issues.
Well, also, some people are panicking in the fan base.
And other people are like,
man, it's week one.
We didn't almost lose to Idaho, bro. Stop misquoting it. Like, it's just everybody's all over the map. One weekend. I love football season.
That's why I love it, too.
So some people loosey-goosey, some people not. I think that's a really good way of putting it. You should win. Should win handily. If you don't, it'll raise other concerns. Can't wait to see how Oregon State looks tomorrow. If we were ranking the slate 1 out of 10 of the college football weekend, how many stars do we give it?
2,
2.5.
It's pretty crappy. This is a weekend that, like, you want to catch Texas, Michigan a little bit.
Early in the morning.
Yep.
I think one team's going to blow the other team out. See Sprague and Line coming up at 8:30.
Oh, we're going hook. We're hooking them today.
How do you know I'm hooking them?
I think you're hooking them today.
How do you know?
You're a hooker.
Maybe
you're a definite hooker.
Maybe he's driving the Sharon more.
For show. I'll be hooking. But outside of that, maybe Colorado, Nebraska for nostalgia, and then Prime losing to Matt Rule.
There are games I'm curious about.
Okay, what piques your interest?
Arkansas at Oklahoma State.
I looked at that, but Oklahoma State handled their business.
Did you see, though, what Taylon Green did last week? Now,
Yes.
Arkansas played literally nobody.
They didn't.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I think they set the college football record by scoring on their touchdowns on their first 10 drives of the season.
Yes.
And Taylon Green, who was at Boise State, a great athlete, was running wild.
When he make his debut?
Oregon State game.
Ran a long touchdown. I went, oh my God.
I'll never forget watching that game. That was the day Oregon lost 49-3 to Georgia, and I was sitting in my hotel room in Atlanta at like 1 o'clock in the morning, like, oh, this is why people on the East Coast don't watch West Coast football.
Quick, what'd your wife ask you to do on Monday? I remember where I was when Taylon Green ran a touchdown in against Oregon State 3 years ago.
You actually had me panic there for a moment. I was like, did she actually ask me to do something on Monday? What am I doing Monday?
What is wrong with us?
I didn't write it down on the calendar.
I don't remember my wife asked me on Tuesday, and you're over. I remember where I was on a touchdown on a late night game.
Why do I remember that? Why am I? What's wrong with me?
What's wrong with us? This is not just a problem. This is everybody, man.
I have a problem. I remember I was laying in my hotel room, laying in bed, watching that game. It was like 2 o'clock because that was a night game, and I was in East Coast time, and I'm like, this is so stupid. This is 2 o'clock in the morning.
I can't wait for your wife to cite what Teddy did, like Sunday last week in 2 years. Remember, he did the thing, and you go. No, and then somebody goes, hey, what was the name of that Idaho quarterback? Jack Lane broke his collarbone second quarter.
Guy was a gamer, bro. He gave us a hard time in week 1 in 2024. I'll never forget that Idaho game, man. That thing's burned into my memory for the rest of my existence.
I sometimes feel guilty as a dad. My daughter like, remember, Dad, I told you? I'm like, no. And then she'll send me a clip of LeBron. I remember watching that game live. He had 27 points, 8 rebounds, 13 assists. They won in double overtime.
I'll never forget when Joey Cora stole third. I'm with you on that one. Arkansas and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's more in a tutty favorite, but just we'll see on that one. Any upset alert with Kansas State Tulane?
I did circle it, but
circled.
I don't know.
Okay.
The fighting Bill Snyder should be.
I mean, it is one to identify because we are going to get a Group of 5 team in the playoff. Tulane, I don't know a lot about them. I'm just assuming they're one of those candidates because they've been good the last couple of years. If they win that game against a raked opponent, they have to be the leader in the clubhouse, right, for the Group of 5 team to make it? Well, unless Boise wins on Saturday night.
I do have one top 25, quote-unquote, top 25 team against a non-quote-unquote unranked top 25 team.
That we're excited for. We have a game circled.
What's the name of the Iowa State-Iowa game again? Isn't El Asico?
What?
Excuse me?
Is it not?
I don't know.
El Ossico?
What's the name?
I'm sure they have a
Spanish
trophy.
name.
I don't know.
Awa.
Am I thinking of a different game?
What is it? Yeah, hold on.
If the trophy doesn't have a cow and a stalk of corn on it, I don't know what's going on.
Maybe I had that wrong.
I think you had
the Cyhawk rivalry. I was way
called
off.
There you go, the Cyhawk.
El Isico? Is that what you said?
That's not what I said.
I think that's what you said. Can we check the tape on that? That sounds like a hurricane coming through. El Isico?
Asico.
Asico?
Never mind.
Excuse me.
We're going to move on here.
Okay.
Right in the butt.
Act like that one didn't happen. I am excited for that game, though.
Oh, it is. I had this right. Spencer Hall. That's who I heard this from. Spencer Hall.
Now, why does he call it that? Is there like a deeper meaning to that? Is it an inside joke?
Well, now you're putting me on the spot. You guys just
speaking of which, by the way,
that game's interesting. There you go.
The Dirty Poll did not rank Iowa in the top 25 because they don't have an offense. Did you see what they did in the first half of that game last week against the Illinois State Redbirds?
3 passing touchdowns in the game.
They had 6 points at halftime, and they didn't score 21 until fourth quarter garbage time. They led Illinois State 6-0 last week at halftime.
You know what? They ended up putting, 40 points on the board?
They did end up putting 40 on the board. So I'll give them credit for that. So that game is one of them that we have circled.
You guys have never heard that term?
The El Isico rivalry. I'm very excited. Asico rivalry. Iowa State. Big fan of that game.
Okay, all right.
Colorado, Nebraska. Quick thoughts. Do you believe now? Or is this the moment that Nebraska are we going to do to Texas, Nebraska thing? Are they back if they win this game?
They're not back if they win this game, but if they win it and win it in some emphatic fashion, then I think they're on notice.
I disagree with that. What is back to you?
Relevant.
Yeah.
Not national championship, but like we're here. We're talked about.
They haven't been winning these games, these somewhat expectations. Hey, is Nebraska back? I think if they can beat Dion, even though I don't think Colorado's particularly great, they have a 5-star guy who looks like a doppelganger from Mahomes.
He does.
Their defense is absolutely lights out. I didn't see very much out of the Big Ten that went, oh, man, a Nebraska team with good defense and maybe a competent quarterback can't compete. And I didn't see that. So
yeah, they're Iowa with a 5-star quarterback.
8-4 with like some feisty games mixed in there and making a bowl game. Yeah, I think if they can beat Colorado, I think it rejuvenates that internal belief in the locker room that they can compete with other teams. Yeah.
He looked really good. Raiola did in week 1. They played UTEP, so, like we do with everybody in week 1, take it with a grain of salt. But he looked really good in week 1, and that I am excited to keep an eye on that game. That is an NBC Peacock game as well. They are a touchdown favorite at home against Colorado.
By the way, from 2021, thank you. You questioned it. I came in with like Oracle energy of not believing myself.
You were very confident in your Asico rivalry
and then
name.
you questioned it and you shot me down in confidence. 2021. They had 20 punts in that game, so now they call that rivalry El Asico.
Oh.
Because it's ass.
It was such a bad game.
It's such a bad game.
I mean, I think it's going to stick. I'll run with you there.
So there you go.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Not a good college football slate, but we do get El Asico, and I'm very excited about that game. There you go. There's your weekend college football preview. We got a lot to get to in the final hour of the show. We will Sprague the line coming up at 8:30. Get your fake sponsors in 503-864-6326. Off of my title last year, I'm off to a rough start, so we'll see if I can bounce back. Let you know how everybody did last week. Let's get back a little bit into the NFL, including who do we like in Survivor picks? How do we feel about the Week 1 slate? We'll dive into it next on The Fan.
Portland, an Odyssey sports station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the Chiefs' quest for a three-peat took its first step Thursday night. A 27-20 victory that was not determined until a video review of the final play of the game revealed Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely's right big toe came down on the white line at the back of the end zone. That voided a chance for Baltimore to tie or win on the conversion. Patrick Mahomes finished 20 of 28 for 291 yards and one touchdown pass. It was the rookie wide receiver Xavier Worthy who had a rushing touchdown earlier in his NFL debut. The opening weekend in the NFL continues tonight from Sao Paulo, Brazil, a first-ever Friday opener. The Packers and Eagles doing battle. Philly's a 2-point favorite. Kickoff set for 5:15, exclusive to the Peacock Network. Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson, a limited participant in practice Thursday, dealing with the calf issue that kept him out of much of the preseason. Justin Fields would get the start Sunday against the Falcons if Wilson can't go. To the college ranks, the Oregon Ducks looking for significant leaps of development in Week 2, hosting Boise State at Autzen Stadium. Kickoff at 7 o'clock right here on The Fan. The Ducks have not lost a home non-conference game since the Broncos' last visit in 2008. They're 21-point favorites. Our pregame coverage will start at 2 o'clock. Beavers on the road for the first time this season at San Diego State. It's a late 7:30 kick on the CBS Sports Network. Beavs holding as 6.5-point favorites. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague.
There's glory in the legends of this hard muscle life, and there's poetry in each season made of sweat and strife.
Dirt and Sprague on Football Friday.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app, follow 1080 The Fan, and enable push notifications to get the latest on the Ducks, Beavers, Blazers, and more.
All I know is, you mess with me, you got problems.
Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
Hey, let's do this. Final hour. Dirt and Sprague here on Portland Sports Leader 1080 The Fan, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube, as we are every day. Thanks for being a part of our Friday.
Cat pervert.
Got a lot to get to in the final hour of the show. Sprague in the line coming up at 8:30. Keep your fake sponsors rolling in, 503-864-6326. I do want to just ask a question to the court to open the final hour before we get to the NFL slate, which I'm very excited for on Sunday. 7 hours of commercial-free football starts now.
I'm still kicking around the thought of getting the package, the Sunday ticket.
You might be a Sunday ticket guy this year. You missed your window. Didn't they have a big discount in like May?
They did.
It was like $100 for the season.
August.
August, okay.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
Damn it, could I have that deal?
Yeah, I like the idea of going to a good game that's
Flipping
not
around.
maybe on Fox in our local area. Sometimes we get screwed that way. And it's like, hey, massive AFC tilt. And you get Titans and Raiders because we still think Marcus Mariota matters around here.
You technically played for both teams, so we're going to have to show that game on the air on CBS.
Yeah, so we get we get that shoved down our throats, and having the ability to maybe have that as a standalone while the red zone is on seems awesome.
It's very intriguing. I am getting scolded at home, and I feel like I'm in the right here, and I just want to throw this to the court real quick. My wife, for some reason, thought it was a good idea to already buy Halloween candy under the guise of being prepared. Can you guys check your calendar? Can you tell me what day it is?
Is there going to be a candy shortage that I don't know about?
Is there going to be? Can you just check your? I think it's early September, if I'm not mistaken. That's a bit of ways. Okay,
we got 50 days.
So I'm all for you buying it to have be prepared. But if you're buying Halloween candy right now, as I'm still doing air quotes, I'm eating that Halloween candy, and I'm now getting scolded for opening the bag of Twix last night after dinner, and I feel like I'm in the right here. It's
are
early
you not
September.
Going shopping at a grocery store or Costco between now and Halloween?
If you're getting Halloween candy now, I'm okay with it. Like, let's just embrace the inner fatness, and I'm going to eat a little, fun-sized Twix after dinner every night.
Yeah.
That's fine. But come on.
She just wants candy around the house.
Thank you. So I'm going to eat it.
There's that. No,
Don't
I got
hold
your back on this one.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
One, probably the worst person to have your back on candy-related conversations. He's a former fat who doesn't eat any of that stuff, so he's maybe the worst person to chime in on
this. We got
this.
dark chocolate.
I bet you have the healthy dark chocolate.
Okay.
Shave it. Do you shave it off?
No.
Is that what you do?
Trader Joe's.
You put a little plain Greek yogurt?
Right out of... No.
Look, you're getting dangerous
There's
now.
no yogurt in the house.
You're
Yogurt's
getting dangerous.
nasty.
You're living wild over there, man.
Dark chocolate shavings, Greek yogurt. It's dangerous. I thought you were going to...
sound just like Richard Simmons.
I sound just like you. I thought you were going to scold her for buying the candy. I thought that's where that was going, not you opening the candy.
No, I'm just, if it's in the house, I'm going to eat it.
Because I want to be honest with you. If we're in the trust tree...
Yeah.
I went to Costco yesterday.
Did you get a bag of Halloween candy?
No. We're full-size candy bar neighborhood people. I bought 2 giant boxes of full-size candy bars. They're $8 off at Costco.
See, now, if you get those and those are in my
We have
house...
60 bars in our house,
I'm not
full-size bars.
I'm not eating that because I don't always want like a full king-size massive... Like, it's just...
That's actually what I thought, too. It's easier to not eat it when it's a full-size candy bar versus the little bags of Twix or Kit Kats or my personal favorite
You don't
Almond
even taste it.
Joys.
You just swallow them whole. Don't pull that. Don't pull that.
We may have
Don't
to.
pull that. Don't pull that.
Yeah, I think it's a little on her, though. You get the little Twix.
If it's in the house and it's September 6th.
Was it a left or right Twix, too?
Well, I had 2. I think I want to be. I mean, they're 2 fun sizes.
Left and right. Good for you.
I'm both. I'm fair and balanced here.
Swallowed them both. I'm proud of you.
Swallowed 2 of them.
But I got 2 boxes of it because I got ahead of it.
Here?
And
it's still in there.
There was a good deal at Costco, so we want to give out 60 full-size bars to people. There you go.
If you give me candy, if there's candy in the cupboard and I'm done with dinner, like I'm gonna eat that candy.
Can I also tell you something else if we're here?
Yeah, we're in the trust tree. What do you got?
Just us. It's just us.
Nobody's listening right now. It's just the
We
3
like
of us.
to decorate maybe the week of Thanksgiving, get a little Christmassy-ish, and then we go full board once Thanksgiving's over.
Your Halloween decorations are going up this weekend.
I'm going to start doing some things.
Yeah.
I'm start doing some things.
That's the most obvious thing of all time. Hey, you guys are big Halloween people.
Well, my wife got really let down last year, and I still feel really awful because it partly was my fault. She just hasn't fully placed the blame. She's been throwing parties every year for some close friends and kids. And last year, just the worst luck happened. A World Series game was on the day of the Halloween party. So I had the game on. It ended up being a close one between Texas and Arizona. And then all the dads came over, and guess where they were?
Just wanted to watch the game.
And so that kind of turned into nobody really participated. I felt really bad because
you killed the party.
It was just the ladies bobbing for apples at that point?
No, it was just largely her.
She's just out there by herself.
It was kind of her and some
Spooky
kids.
season.
And I really let her down. I feel really bad. I still do. And so, I'm trying to make it up. I don't care who's in the World Series. Even if it's my Bravos, I will make sure it's not a priority.
It's a Thursday night, by the way, this year. What's Thursday night football that week?
That's a good point. Damn it. But I'll put that on the background. I will not hover just by the television.
Sure you will. Let's see what the game is.
I'm really going above and beyond this year. I'm going to watch more scary movies. I'm going to do my part.
Texans at Jets.
Texans at Jets.
Rodgers
is healthy.
Not a chance he'll be healthy.
4-1 start.
Not a chance.
Stroud's looking good.
That's going to be Tyrod Taylor against C.J. Stroud.
As of now, surface level, that's a pretty good Thursday night game.
By the way, I think the Jets almost beat the Houston Texans last year without their starting quarterback.
I think that they did,
probably. Yeah. Anyways, you're not going to fool me.
No.
I'm fully committed.
Fool me once, shame on you.
I'm fully committed, and I'm going to start this weekend, despite how she feels. She's anti-party,
doesn't want to do any of it.
I've lost her. I'm going to get her back.
Okay.
I'm going to win her back.
Look at you. Well
it's almost
done.
like a breakup. I'm desperate. I'll win her back.
10 things I hate about you. You're fighting back right now. I like that.
She's going to be crying and giving me a poem at the end of this movie.
This is how it's going to go. How are we feeling? So the Survivor pool is back. I thought it'd be fun to do this on the show every week until we all are eliminated. Swag is wildly confident about his Survivor pick. So who are you going with this week, and why are you wildly confident?
I got the Bills because the Cardinals all the way across the country early. I just have no faith.
They haven't played yet. Does the
There's nothing about the Cardinals that screams going on the road in the opener.
This is so good. I'm marking this down. 8-10 on Friday.
Oh, I'll look like an idiot if they screw it up.
You're not worried at all about the start of what the Bills could be? They might build into a good team, and maybe they are, and you're right. But
this is more about the Cardinals. I have zero faith in the Cardinals on the road season opener
Marvin
in
Harrison
Buffalo.
Jr., Michael Wilson.
Kyler Murray.
No.
Yeah, Kyler.
No.
Running
James
all over that
Conner.
field. No, nothing at all. No.
I
The
think
Gannon
there's
defense. There's just nothing
I think
about the
there's
Cardinals
an
that's
extra
scary at
level
all.
of focus from Josh Allen. The Stephon Diggs saga soap opera crap is out. It's totally him.
Man.
Include everybody. Lots of, I don't. Now, would I lay the points? That's a little different.
What are the points?
6.5.
6.5
is your line. Less than a tutty.
But are the Bills are gonna win this game?
Yes.
Now make sure you pull this. This needs to be in the open on Monday.
Yeah. If they lose, that has to be in the open on Monday. It just has to. That's mandatory procedure here.
This was the only guy I was like, what
This
series?
is the only
So
one?
this more so than Cincinnati and New England is the most popular pick so far.
That's going to be mine.
Exactly.
Cincinnati
But
at home against New England. I think New England's the worst team in football.
well, I think the
And I'm
Bengals.
nervous.
That's the biggest spread of week 1. 8.5 is the point spread in Cincinnati, New England.
The Bengals still got a lot of issues going on. I don't think the Bills have as many issues.
They're completely restarting their defense. They lost their number one wide receiver. Their number one target might be Keon Coleman, or it might be a tight end.
Good tight end, but
Good tight end.
Good tight end.
I'll take that. I just think
I'll take that.
I'll take a good tight end.
That's right.
Cincinnati at home against maybe Drake May at some point.
Could be. Jacoby Brissett.
But also, I'm not as confident as him. I'm picking the Bengals.
No, I think that's where I'm going to go too, but I'm terrified.
If you go through it and you look at the week 1 slate, I think the primetime games are great. But go look at the slate and really ask yourself, who am I picking?
Exactly.
So Vikings at
Because
Giants?
Saints hosting the Panthers.
No.
Panthers might be
I
the
don't
worst
know.
team in the league.
Yeah.
But also the
Chargers
Saints
hosting
might
the
be the worst
Raiders.
team in the league.
Is there any confidence in the Chargers in a survivor pick this week?
Is he still in a boot?
No, he's out of a boot.
No, he said his foot's 100%.
But the Raiders have a nasty pass
But
rush.
they still
do.
You're still getting used to Harbaugh's way of, and they didn't play a lot of their starters in the preseason, so who knows?
Who has it better than
up.
us? I don't know. Maybe the Raiders.
I mean, my other instinct was the Falcons. The Steelers are kind of a mess. They don't know who's going to be their quarterback.
Betting against Tomlin?
But I'm not betting against Tomlin.
Good luck with that.
Exactly.
Seahawks picks have rolled in for week 1, hosting Bo Nix in his debut in the NFL.
The Seahawks have been a weird team against good to bad teams for a long time, dude.
Yeah.
See the Cardinals games or the Giants with Colt McCoy.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning Cincinnati right now. I'll finalize it at some point. Cincinnati's their leader in the clubhouse, walking away with it, and I think that's going to be my week 1 pick. So for those who don't know, I run a survivor pool, and you just can't pick the same team you can't pick the same team back-to-back weeks until week 10. Now, last year I did joke because the pool started and lots of people took Kansas City in the opener against Detroit. And so there was 10 people who didn't even make it to the opening Sunday.
I found that to be a weird pick.
It was a horrible pick because the
weird
Chiefs
pick.
didn't have Kelsey. They didn't have Chris Jones. Those guys were sitting out. So a chunk of people didn't even make it to week 1. Nobody took the game last night, so everybody will make it to the Sunday of week 1. Swag has locked in his pick with Buffalo. Leaning Cincinnati.
I'm taking Cincinnati.
Yeah,
I couldn't find another game I feel as confident in, and even that game I'm like, the Cardinals eliminated me last year.
The Cardinals literally knocked both of you out last year. You both took the Cowboys.
Yeah, no,
they didn't just knock us out. They steamrolled the Cowboys in that game. Yeah, and you're over here like, Cardinals, I'm not scared
And that wasn't
of you.
even Kyler Murray. Who was their quarterback for that game? Skinner or who? Colt McCoy? Who the hell did they have?
Was it the guy that later went to
Josh
Minnesota?
Dobbs? Was it Dobbs? Was it the Passernaut?
Yeah.
And guess who bumped me out 2 years ago? Cincinnati, because they lost at Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here. You got some confidence that just doesn't make sense to me.
For week 1 of the NFL season, man, it is a total blind dart throw.
It
Blindfolded,
absolutely
you're
is.
throwing. You just hope, just hit somewhere on the board. That's all you need.
Dude, the NFL. I would have liked Houston, but that ended up being a great game. They knocked week 1 out of the park.
Yeah. Primetime slate's great. Let's get into it a little bit more coming up next. We will spring the line coming up at 8:30. 503-864-6326. Get your fake sponsors in. We'll do some gambling coming up in 15 minutes. What games are we most excited for this weekend? Opening slate of the NFL preview. That is next on The Fan.
It's time for a sports injury report. The injuries and rehab that impact the success of sports teams. Brought to you by Rock Orthopedic.
Russ Wilson was a limited participant today. His calf got tight, so we wanted to exercise some precaution. We'll see what tomorrow looks like and kind of go from there.
That is Mike Tomlin talking about his new starting quarterback, Russell Wilson, who might not be ready for week 1 with some calf issues. They are on the road in Atlanta in their opening game.
Well, that's okay because their other starting quarterback that will eventually start, Justin Fields, is ready to go.
He is. Their actual starting quarterback, long-term, is actually ready to go, and he might end up playing this weekend. Sports Injury Report presented by Rock Orthopedic, board-certified specialists who diagnose and treat the widest range of orthopedic cases with care and expertise. To schedule an appointment with Dr. Sam Cheeseman, visit rocpdx.com.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd.
It's not.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes.
This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
On 1080 The Fan.
Love the thoughts rolling in. People chiming in that the Panthers will beat the Saints this weekend. P1 Corndog says he wants a 6-pack bet with swag. He's taking the Cardinals to win outright.
Wow.
In Buffalo.
I think Arizona's going to be a little better than people think personally.
Could be, yeah.
I didn't see Swag coming in so hot and confident on the Bills, but I also have the Bills winning the Super Bowl, so I'm in a bit of a conundrum here.
Right.
I've been eyeing that Panther line too. +4. I think the Saints might be one of the worst teams in football this year. It's one of my takes.
Gambling on the Carolina Panthers week 1.
Not a big Bryce Young fan, but, over a field goal, questionable. You see Derek Carr's passes in these practices? He's airmailing these passes. They're waiting to hand the reins over to somebody else.
Rattler time.
Could be Rattler time.
Go ahead and power rank the top 3, and tonight's game can be included, Sunday night game, Monday night. Maybe you just go primetime games.
Sure.
Top 3 most exciting games of the opening weekend of the NFL season.
Well, I'm going to go. Do you want me to go 3 to 1 or 1 down to 3?
Go 3 to 1.
3
Let's
to
go
1.
backwards to forwards.
Okay, number 3 is Niners-Jets.
Monday Night Football.
Best team in the NFC. Keep, coming up short in the Super Bowl. Weird late camp arrivals with Williams and Ayuk. And the guy just got shot, but expectation, but the window's closing. There's all these things that we're wondering about San Francisco. And on the opposite side, you've got the talk of the town.
Aaron Rodgers
is back. Is he actually going to play more than 4 snaps? The defense is lights out, but is the head coach trustworthy? How are all these weapons going to look? It has to be in there. I refuse to believe it's not one of the better, more interesting games, at least going into it. Number 2, Bears-Titans. I want to see Caleb absolutely.
Number 2, Bears-Titans.
It's not going to be the game I may watch the most, but it's going to certainly be in my top 3. I want to see what Caleb is against a real NFL defense when it matters on the line. Is Caleb going to shred Tennessee? I don't think Tennessee's particularly great.
No.
So go out there, week 1, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen's healthy. You got Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift. Defense should be good. Should be a nice little debut for Caleb Williams in his NFL career.
You see Belichick, by the way, on the Inside the NFL show kind of dump all over Caleb.
Oh, did he?
Not dump, that's too strong, but he gave he was 10 of 20 in the preseason. he gave that kind of take of
it's a fair point.
And against backup defenders, maybe take a deep breath.
And tonight. Tonight's my number 1. I think
one game.
The Packers are going to win the NFC is my take, and Philadelphia with Sirianni and the Hurt stuff. Sal Paolantonio, who is Mr. Philadelphia, he poo-pooed this on the morning show before us. Yeah, I think you're a little inside baseball there, Sal. I think the noise is loud for a reason. They're coming in with so much heat. Pseudo home game. They'll have more fans there than Packers fans. And Jordan Love can do no wrong to anybody. He had a great 8-game stretch, gets the massive deal. We're all in. Jordan Love's supposed to be the guy. All right, week 1, let's see what it is.
Interesting. Swag, you agree with that top 3?
No.
No. Oh, you're an idiot.
Okay. Not for me. Number 3, and this is purely from a local standpoint, is Broncos at Seahawks. Bo Nix. Bo Nix getting the start, being named a captain. Curious to see if he can do what everybody else in Denver is hoping to do. And also, what are the Seahawks going to look like with a new head coach? Are they going to look that different? It appears the formula that he had is one Pete Carroll used for quite some time. So that's more of just a local flavor tinge to it. At number 2, I am very curious about the Texans and Colts.
Texans and Colts.
Richardson's healthy.
Can he stay healthy?
That's an interesting line, by the way. It's in Indy. I think the Texans are favored by
3. 3-point favorites.
Yeah,
right at
2.5.
Ooh.
Are all of the expectations and hype and everything with Stroud and Diggs and all of that, is the momentum continue to flow for the Texans? Or now that the spotlight is upon them, they have the tougher schedule, but winning the division, do they take a moment to clear the lump in their throat? For the Colts, if they're all healthy with Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson, could they truly be an AFC contender come late January? Are they going to be in the mix, for a potential AFC title game? Number 1 for me, Sunday night, Rams and Lions.
I'm pretty jacked about that game.
In Detroit. Do one of these teams look like they have all the pieces to, because the NFC for me is wide open. I think the 49ers have a little bit of an edge, but we know health is an issue for them. Do one of these teams look like they could represent the NFC in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, Lions were a couple of plays away from doing it last year, and the Rams were a couple of plays away from beating the Lions in the wild card round, I believe, of the playoffs.
Yeah,
the
wild
divisional
card
round
at Detroit.
Lions fans got all day to get ready for this one.
Oh, that atmosphere is going to be incredible. It was for the playoff game.
By the way, quickly, I had not seen it till last night. Man Campbell and Applebee's commercial.
So good.
That was awesome.
One of the best commercials on television.
Good.
So good. Have you seen? I don't know which one they aired on TV.
He was amazing in that.
I've seen multiple online. Did they do the one where he's like getting everybody in shape, or the one where he's taking orders?
No, the one where he was taking orders, covering his mouth.
See what you're ordering.
Hey. They're going to see what your order is, man. Cover it up. Can I have the boneless wings, please, as I cover my mouth? Dude,
they'll never see it coming. It's
great.
Great
call.
order.
Great call. Fake punt right now.
I'm rooting so hard for that guy. I love that guy.
Detroit having this moment, hosting the first Sunday night game of the year, and that it's just cool. I'm so happy for those fans. The city deserves it. I hear all the arguments you guys are making, like Caleb making his debut. Pumped to watch it.
It's literally the only reason you should care about that game.
The Titans are. No offense to Titan fans out there. Nobody cares. Caleb playing, very exciting. I'm with you on Bo, but is Denver going to be good? Is that going to be ugly? Is he going to struggle? I don't really think Seattle's that good. They're fine, but
Rookie
see the
road
arguments.
Game is going to be tough. Yeah.
I hate to take the primetime cop out, but I'm going primetime games. I have to for my top three.
I understand.
I go number 3, Niners and Jets, just because of everything that you listed. Number 2 for me is Lions and Rams. That might be a preview of the NFC title game. And number 1 for me has to be Green Bay
tonight is
in
crazy.
Philly. Philly keeping their coach, crumbling the way that they did. Kelsey's gone. All the dysfunction. Nothing to see here. Green Bay coming in just skyrocketing expectations.
He's the best quarterback.
He's a top 5 guy in 1 year, and we're he's the best in the league. Okay, I'm not even an anti-Jordan Love guy. We rush so quickly to crown people. And that game, for all the expectations on Green Bay, the idea of Philly faltering and firing people is always hilarious to me. My only criticism of that game should be in Philadelphia, because if they don't score in the first half, I love watching them get booed off of their own field. Philly is they're one of a kind out there, but that's the best game of the weekend for me. We have an incredible primetime slate right out of the gate, and the NFL hit it on the head.
I agree 100%. Don't argue with anything. I was just trying to get away from just the obvious. The primetime game matchup-wise, there are interesting Jags-Dolphins isn't maybe at the top of everybody's list unless you're a fan, but I'm interested.
Well, I think the Browns-Cowboys could be full of drama. Right. I don't know how great the game's going to be.
Watson sucks?
That line is so confusing to me, man. Watson has taken how many snaps?
Yeah,
he
it's the defense.
Sucks. I know.
Defense. It's the defense. It's at home.
But the Cowboys are a good regular season team.
But they're getting sub-field goal at home.
I know. I have been.
What's
flirting.
the running attack for Dallas?
I don't know, but I've been flirting all week with gambling on the Cowboy. I'm not going to do it, but I've been flirting with it all week.
I've been burned.
Am I going to start my season gambling on the Dallas Cowboys? Now, I've elected no to that question, but I have considered it all week long.
I've suffered many a Cowboy STD.
We all have.
Doesn't feel good when that thing burns.
No, it sticks with you for life.
You already don't like them, and now it's you hurt me even more.
You can't just shave it off. Let's get to Sprague in the line. Get your fake sponsors in. Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. We do some gambling. We do it next. First Year Swag with SportsCenter.
This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Stanford's. The classic American steakhouse has exactly what you've been craving. Visit them in Clackamas, Tanasbourne, or online at stanfords.com. First on The Fan. The Chiefs picked up right where they left off, beating the Ravens in an AFC title rematch, but it came down to the final play and then some. It looked like Isaiah Lively had caught a touchdown pass as time expired in the back of the end zone. Video review revealed his right big toe came down on the white line. Chiefs prevailed 27-20. Patrick Mahomes 20 of 28 for 291 yards and 1 touchdown pass. The opening weekend continues tonight for the NFL, a first-ever Friday night opener. They are in Sao Paulo, Brazil for the Packers and Eagles. 5:15 kick on the Peacock Network. Philly a 2-point favorite. The college Week 2 slate, late night here for the Northwest teams. The Ducks trying to make some significant developmental gains in Week 2, hosting Boise State at Autzen Stadium. They are 21-point favorites for a 7 o'clock kick. We'll have it for you on The Fan. Our pregame coverage will start at 2 p.m. The Beavers, meanwhile, on the road for the first time at San Diego State. 7:30 kick against the Aztecs. CBS Sports Network has it. Oregon State 6.5-point favorites. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
On 1080 The Fan.
Sprague the lie.
Sprague the lie.
Sprague the lie.
Sprague the lie.
Let's get some quick ones in here. Sprague the lie brought to you by a message from Tom Peterson's late night commercials directed at the Oregon Ducks. Wake up, wake up. If you're too young to get this, sorry, but at least Swag will get it.
And Glorious, too. Excuse me, Swag's not the only Tom Peterson super fan here.
Tom and Gloria.
I remember when it was just Tom, and then Gloria was like, hey.
And me too.
And Glorious, too.
Yeah, Gloria had to bail him out of bankruptcy, so that's how that
got that spot. Good buzz cut, Tom Peterson.
Great buzz cut.
Great, like, traditional Army buzz cut.
Whatever happened to the Petersons? What happened over there?
Well,
what's going on? I know they did, but like, did the kid? Is there any sort of offshoot?
I don't know
is there
what eventually happened to the
offspring?
business.
Do they have
or
kids?
Not.
Is there a legacy of Petersons in the Portland area?
Did you see the remix, Steal Our Idea?
I did. Outrageous Audio?
Outrageous Audio guy did their schedule release.
Yeah.
Actually, it was really good content.
Probably the most random thing we have ever done on this show was when we talked about those commercials.
That guy.
And that guy called in. And we had him on the show.
Yeah, somebody said you guys were talking about me.
Yeah, we did that.
Outrageous Audio.
And then we had, who was our Ken guy? Blazer Ken? Remember?
Blazer Ken. Really
Yes.
Tan Ken.
Yeah, he
Portland
called in
really
too.
Tan Ken.
Portland Ken.
Ron Sloy.
Yes, that sounds right.
I think he's still trying to sell the mansion.
Still trying to get rid of it? Sprague Line brought to you by RFK Jr. The stench of a Sprague pit considerably worse than the minivan after a Sunday at the beach. Hey, you got a dead bear in the back of that thing?
Tweeters are just $5.
And then I dropped him at Central Park. I thought this would be funny. Sprague Line brought to you by... That's my RFK. Pretty good, no?
I feel weird doing that.
Brought to you by Danny Rojas. How else can we be sick from both ends and call it a miracle?
Dude. I know we haven't dove in. We should have. I actually dropped the ball one show.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Lasso announcing basically they're coming back with the full cast is awesome, and I will not hear otherwise. I didn't really like the way it ended.
I want more of that show. I love that show.
I just love the show. It makes me happy, and I just want to be happy. So if it's not great,
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't.
That's kind of how I felt this year with the Bear. Like,
Same.
everybody pooped all over the Bear, and I'm like, was it as good as the first two seasons? No, it's also not easy to keep that thing going. And I love it. I love the show.
I just love the show.
I love the show.
Characters, yeah.
Yes, Chef. Yeah. Sprague Line brought to you by Sprague being a local morning news guy. If only he was as knowledgeable with the betting world as he is with the local news. This might be a segment full of winners.
Well, buckle up, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I got off to a rough start last week. Last year's champion, 0-3 right out of the gate. I had the under last night of 46.5. How many points did they score?
47.
Awesome. 0-3 for me.
You would have waited.
Sprague, I know, I could have locked it in later. After I was, by the way, I would like listeners pointed this out. I was ridiculed for the idea of gambling the Friday game. I just want to point this out a week ago. Just gamble college. Just do college. Then Sprague comes out with a Friday night NFL line. Like, oh, okay, that's allowed. Sprague has an incomplete record. He's 1-1, waiting for tonight's game. Wow. So, all right.
I'm
just
on the Packers, by the way.
Whatever the hell we want. You still have Packers +3. Yeah. You hit on the under in A&M Notre Dame. You missed on Clemson +12 against Georgia.
Dabo.
And Swag, a lot of people loved A&M. Swag went the other way, took Notre Dame +3 and hit. Arizona did not cover against New Mexico, and you hit on the mighty condoms of L.A.
That's right.
To cover against LSU, and they won outright.
Arizona put up points. Our boy T-Mac had a game. Defense didn't hold up its end of the bargain.
I was really jealous you took the USC game. I liked him on the money line more than I even liked him on the points, so I give you a lot of credit for that. And you did what we do every Wednesday at 6:45. Everybody was zigging on A&M.
You got zagged.
You zagged with Notre Dame. You nailed it.
Right.
You got a zag. So a 2-1 record for Swag. The T-box is yours. Pick number one.
I will start with some college football Saturday night in Lincoln, Nebraska. The old rivalry.
Actually, don't know what the line is.
Renewed.
It should be a touchdown.
I would have liked it a lot better at 6.5, but I am confident that the black shirts are back. I think this is personal for Matt Rule.
Mm-hmm.
I think that defense is going to probably get a couple of late hit personal foul penalties. They are going to try to knock some dudes out. I will take the Cornhuskers -7.
Okay. Cornhuskers -7. Sprague, pick number one.
I hate to copy, but I must copy. Give me Texas. Rolling into the big house, -7. Welcome to a new era of Michigan football where quarterback play sucks and the defense is a bend don't break.
Fado!
They gonna break. Texas rolls.
Hook 'em!
The big half. Hook 'em!
Hook 'em horns. I'm going to start game one for me, and it's coming off of the injury report that we just had a few moments ago. You know how I feel about my boy Kirk Cousins. I do think Atlanta's a really good team. They damn near were 500 last year with arguably the worst quarterback in the NFL. Yes, he was the worst quarterback in the NFL.
He's not even in the league.
He's not even in the league anymore. They're at home against Pittsburgh. They don't know if Russell Wilson's going to play. Look, I know we've had our fun debates about Mike Tomlin. He'll probably still find a way to sneak into a 500 record at the end of the year. Don't forget how their season started last year, getting punked by the 49ers in their first game of the season at home. I think there's a lot of momentum, a lot of juice in Atlanta. They are at home. They got all those weapons. You finally got a quarterback with a pulse and underrated defense. I love this line. My first pick of the week is Atlanta minus 3.5 Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Do I have to go somewhere else? I got that.
You can double dip. That's fine.
I got that same one.
Really?
The Falcons, they're all primed to be able to put points on the board. And as much as Mike Tomlin can scheme and get his guys ready and try to keep them around, I just don't think that offense is equipped to keep up on the scoreboard with Atlanta. So I'll lay the 3.5.
Okay. So nothing but favorites for Swag. You start out with a favorite. I start out with a favorite. We're going to bark a little bit.
Oh, it's time to bark?
It's time to bark. Well, we'll depend on the size of the bark by how we feel on Monday. I have no real rhyme or reason here. This is just week one of the NFL, and it's always weird, and it's always unpredictable.
Are you going to do it?
Oh, I'm doing it.
You're doing it.
I'm not a fan of the quarterback. I'm not really sure the coach is even any good. Like, the most interesting thing out of this team is that he had a porn addiction, but I don't like Dennis Allen. I don't like Derek Carr. I don't like what the Saints are offering, even though the number one target, Chris Olave, is really good in football. I'm taking the Panthers +4 on the road.
Keep pounding. Carolina Panthers.
We're pounding hard this weekend.
Did I see a Carolina Panther bet in week one coming? No, I did not. That one snuck up on me right there. I did not see that coming. Pick number 2 for me, I will also go to a dog, and I will go to a game that we also just talked about. It's one of my favorites from the weekend. I don't know about an outright win here. I feel like the number's too high. They damn near beat them in the playoffs last year. Sunday Night Football. The Rams are on the road. Yes, there are new pieces. Yes, I know Puka Nacua is a little banged up right now. Aaron Donald is gone. That's fine. I'm a big believer in Sean McVay, who is arguably one of the best coaches in the league, and Matt Stafford, who, when healthy, is as good as almost anybody in the entire NFL. I love the Rams covering this number. You're getting 4.5 on the road. Tight game week one. Give me the Rams +4.5 Sunday Night Football in Detroit.
Finally, I took him on the Survivor pick. I don't care about the line.
Doubling down.
All favorites.
Doubling down.
They're getting a new stadium. They got rid of Stephon Diggs.
I'm surprised you're not going Pagula on your bet here. Doesn't his daughter in like the tennis thing going on right now?
I was getting to that. Yeah. She will play for the U.S. Open singles women's title. A big 3-set come-from-behind victory last night to knock out the 2 seed. No, she didn't knock out the 2 seed. She's playing the 2 seed in the final.
Got too excited there.
He got too excited. That's right.
I don't know if that wood's in there anymore. I don't know, man. She's trying to act like she's like a normal person too. Of like, I've had to work. It's been a hard
she
grind.
did have to work to get there, but did she have training and top end equipment?
She did
her entire life. Yes,
but her career. She is 30 years old. Her tennis career is
it's winding.
It's winding. An opportunity to win the U.S. Open. That'll be after the game. The Pagulas will be jacked. I'm laying the 6.5. Give me the Bills. The Cardinals stink.
Okay.
Do not let my brother-in-law hear this part of this segment.
Uh-oh.
I hate to do this. I'm sorry. I have to trust the gut here. This is gambling after all.
Uh-oh.
I'm buying the hype. I think it's real. I think it's legitimate. And I think they've got an opportunity to be special on both sides of the football. I didn't like what I saw. I don't care that it was preseason. Little nervous about our AR. What number is he? 5? Our AR 5?
Yeah.
8? I thought he was 8.
No, he's number 5.
Oh, okay.
Richardson's 5.
I believe he's 5. He was 15 in Florida, and then he got rid of that.
He's number 5.
Okay.
I'm getting sub a field goal with Houston, and I know it's a roadie. I know they were in a dogfight at the end of last year with Minshew. Richardson's getting openly mocked and laughed at by the Bengals defense. I'm a little questionable and concerned of what DeMeco Ryans is going to do and that defense of Houston. I love C.J. Stroud. I'm all in on it. I don't think Diggs is the number 1, but I think he's a great addition to a receiver room if he doesn't allow his attitude to take it over. I'm taking Texans minus the 2.5 to open the season at Indy.
Okay. Last pick for me. I have gone back and forth on 2 different games, and I'm only going to settle on one because it's at home. I wish it was 2.5. Right now on DraftKings, it's 3. So I hate the idea of a push.
line?
I'm not using A lines.
That's what I'm using.
I'm using DraftKings lines because that's where I bet. So these are the bets I'm locking in, and I'm going to use DraftKings. So that's just what I'm going to do. I'm actually placing the bet, so I'm going to get the number that I'm actually
loaded my account.
Yeah, you gambling on Texas this weekend? Yeah.
Well, Texas is different. The pros I am. Panthers and Texans.
I don't know what it is on A. It is 3 on DraftKings. I am going to take the Chargers at home in the Jim Harbaugh debut game. Now, concerned about this because Herbert was banged up for most of training camp. But I just think when you hire a new coach, there's new energy and new identity. I like their defense and what he's been able to do at other stops. I love the staff that he has put together. I think you're going to run the football a ton. Love the weapons that they have. And I'm going to go Chargers -3 in week 1 at home against the Las Vegas
It's also
Raiders.
-3 at A.
It's also -3?
Yeah.
There you go.
Wish you didn't hate the Raiders so much.
One listener really thinks I hate the Raiders.
What's there to like about the Raiders?
Well, Crosby, Wilkins.
Yeah, they got a great defensive line. Yeah, they got a great defensive line.
Devontae Adams is pretty good.
Our picks, trust me, I'm not unhappy here, guys. I'm not unhappy here. Swag is on Nebraska -7 against Colorado. Falcons -3.5 against the Steelers. And the Bills -6.5 against the Cardinals. Sprague is on the Texas Longhorns -7 at Michigan. The Panthers +4 against the Saints. And the Texans -2.5 against the Colts. And I'm on the Falcons also -3.5 against the Steelers. The Rams +4.5 Sunday night against the Lions. And the Chargers -3 against the Raiders. Sprague in the line brought to you by Dirt's Flaccid Mic Stand. Still more reliable than a Sprague pick.
That's a good line.
We will wrap it up on a Friday. Answer the poll questions and get you set for everything going on this weekend. Next on 1080 The Fan.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Friday, getting down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
This is a Football Friday edition of Dirt and Sprague.
Brought to you by the Odyssey app.
On 1080 The Fan.
There you go. Fist pumping your way into the weekend every single Friday. We should settle some housekeeping because one listener chiming in about our line debate from the last segment. If like A lines for college, totally cool. Whatever you guys want to do, you want to gamble those, totally fine with them.
Yeah, I look for college. I go to A. It's
totally
closest
fair.
place
Closest
we can bet.
book, totally
but
get it.
I'd take DraftKings.
I'm gambling the games on DraftKings, and so I'm gonna use the DraftKings. College lines, A. fine. NFL games, I'm gonna use DraftKings.
I don't care what you
Okay,
use.
I just wanted because there might be a half point difference.
I just noticed that when we use DraftKings the last couple years, Numbnuts over there has given me a slightly different line than my DraftKings app, and he's like, I'm using A.
That is
Or
true.
I'm using BetMGM. And it's like, well, what lines are we using?
He's searching for the best line.
That's obviously what he's doing.
I think we're doing A college.
A college,
DraftKings NFL. Fair?
Yes.
Agreement?
Yes. Got
Okay.
it.
We're all on the same page here.
Does that impact any of my current bets?
I'm going to go look at your Texans line and see what it is on draft. I mean, I've imagined that it's still 2 because I think most of them are the same. I don't think there's a big difference there.
Well, 2.5 and 3 is
Texans on DraftKings right now is -3.
But we said the fair after we already picked the picks. Right?
After just criticizing Numbnuts for finding the lowest line.
Well,
what are we doing over here?
I thought you
You're
were going
giving
to join
Friday
in.
night games. We're doing different lines. This shenanigans already.
I thought you were
shenanigans
joining in.
already.
Okay, you know what? I'll make you a deal. After this week,
okay.
we will only use DraftKings
starting
for the NFL.
now. Starting now.
I also need to do some housekeeping. We got a couple listeners that shot some stuff in.
Yeah.
And one listener noting Peterson Plaza, mini strip mall at 82nd and Foster at the former Tom Peterson location. Still think.
Okay. Peterson Plaza still a thing. I'll have to drive by.
Don't know what's involved there because I've been to 82nd and Foster and I don't like to hang out long.
Yeah, let's get through this red light. Get through the red light.
And one of our listeners, Sam, sent us a video and said Swag had a swinge moment.
Oh, we had a swinge moment?
What did I say?
You had a Fangram announcement at a Hops game at roughly the 6th or 7th inning, and on the video board, it says quite clearly, babe, happy 26th, sweetheart. You said, and we've got a happy babe.
I can tell you exactly
25th.
what happened.
You said 25th, and it's clearly 26.
The video board operator that day, so I get them in order because they fill them out on little sheets.
Little cards, yeah.
And then they bring them up, they type them in, and then they give them to me.
Sure.
And so I'm looking down at what I have in front of me, not up at the board. Put the thing on the board opposite. They were out of order. And
when you looked up, did you say 20? Because you still said 25.
I probably said 25th instead of 26th. But
it was
they
an
were
anniversary celebration?
I think it was a birthday.
Or
something.
Oh, okay.
Happy 26th,
but yes,
sweetheart. Yeah.
They were out of order.
Okay. Hey, it happens to the best of us. Sometimes we swinge, sometimes we miss. I did this last Friday. I think we all missed. So let's try it again.
Well, Swag nailed it. Dabo sucked, and I
was
like,
that? Yeah, that was. That's right.
Back.
You hit it.
Yeah.
What's the headline Monday? Number one headline on the show Monday.
Same old Jets. Oh, wait. No, that game.
Now, that'll be Tuesday. It's Monday night game.
Monday, yeah.
Could be college, could be NFL. Number one headline.
Beav blowout.
Beav blowout?
Beav blowout.
Okay. Swag?
No reason for alarm in Eugene.
Yeah, I think that's where I go to.
Oh, boring.
That's where I go to.
Really?
Trying to think. Time to panic in Philly.
Michigan, ha ha.
We got some great sound bites for the show Monday. We are so stupid. We got to stop falling into these traps, man.
Keep pounding.
It is so fun. Thanks everybody for being a part of our Friday. We are live on YouTube as we always are. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Awesome content, including the game day content tomorrow. Pregame will start at 3. I'll be down in Eugene, 3 to 5, and then if you're up Sunday morning, you can watch the postgame show tomorrow night on YouTube as well. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy all of the football. We will talk to you Monday at 6 a.m. Colin is next. Listening to 1080 The Fan.
Fire.